You ever wonder what makes a great gamer? Great gaming is not only about cheering on our teammates, but also being there to pick us up when we're down.
Guardian down!
We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on three things: community, news around the gaming industry and Destiny 2, and thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guardian Down Cast. Your stories, your community, your destiny. Hey, what's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 278 of Guardian Down Cast. I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. In this live episode, we have our monthly Roundtable episode where the three of us host, bring a topic to the table, but sometimes we have a guest on to present their topic as well. These topics revolve around our gaming hobby generally. And it's the one time of the month that Destiny may not be front and center. I'd like to thank my two co-hosts for joining tonight, RNG Gator and Kingsley Mack. I know, Kingsley, you're a little under the weather, so hang in there, buddy. How's everybody doing? Doing good?
Doing good. I'll be here as best as I can. Right now, I'm okay.
Good deal. And RNG's watching the fight. We got it. All right. For those of you who just may have discovered our podcast, we have a live version of our show on YouTube where you can interact with us live in the chat. We also have a replay of tonight's show on my channel. And of that, of course, is Todd the Gator, 2 Ds and GATR. The audio version will always be available for any of our podcast apps out there. And you can always go to our website, guardiandowncast.com, to listen to any individual episodes as well. Tonight, we have a special guest on the show bringing a topic to the roundtable. He's been in gaming as long as I have and is a Gen Xer like me as well. I've gotten lunch with this guy more than once, and no matter what's going on around us, we end up spending way too much time talking about gaming. He's been podcasting with his brother, Sergeant McCluskey, for over 415 episodes. Now on 418 episodes now on the Generation X Gaming podcast, and they always get into all kinds of gaming news submitted by their community. It can really be entertaining, as I've watched these guys for a long time. They have their episodes live as well here on YouTube. So please welcome my fellow Floridian gamer, 30 and Still Gaming, or 30 NSG. How you been, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Very good. Looking forward to talking with you guys tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely, man. I was looking forward to this all week. You can catch his shows, by the way, on his YouTube channel, which is 30NSG, just like it says on the screen in front of you right now. It's every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we had to make our time changes. Exactly. Yeah, you're almost there. It's on the right side of you. That's okay. That's all right. Now look, there it is. There it is. So yeah, check his show out. It's really a lot of fun to watch. I wish Sergeant McCluskey could have made it tonight, but unfortunately he had to work. So, we'll try to get him on the next one. In this episode, well, first I'll catch up with our week. We'll also hear, what 30's been up to since his last visit on our show. Then we're going to dive right into our 4 topics on the roundtable tonight. I will wait to go over the highlights concerning This Week in Destiny, the TWAB, Bungie's weekly blog post. There are lots of changes coming for Act 2 next week, and break that down as well. We'll go through it. Of course, if you have any feedback for us, anything we're talking about, let's hear it in our Discord. That's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. There's a lot to cover tonight, so if everyone's ready, let's roll.
Hey, thanks for listening to Guardian Downcast. There are several ways you can contact us. First, you can find us on X at Guardian Downcast. Or you can find us on our Instagram at Guardian Downcast and see what pics and reels Todd the Gator and his podcast guests want to share with you guys. We have a brand new website too. Just visit guardiandowncast.com, where you can find all of our contact info, leave us a voicemail, give our show a rating or review, search for any past episodes, or even give back to our community. Also, don't forget to sign up for future updates to the show, where we'll also have random drawings throughout the year, and you may win a gift card or even some GDC merch. And finally, you can send us an email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Our community thrives on interaction, so get involved and check us out. And later, Guardian.
30 and Still Gaming. I'm just going to, well, I can't call you Mike because Kingsley's also Mike. So I'll just call you 30 if that's all right tonight.
Whatever you guys want to do, we'll figure it out.
Sounds good.
We'll figure it out. So, hey, before we get into what we've been doing this week and everything, how you been, man? I think it's been a couple of years since you've been on the show with us. What's new, man? What's changed in your life? What's going on?
I don't know what's changed since the last time. I mean, it has been quite some time. I mean, did I have the 30 NSG channel?
I don't think so. It was 30 and Still Gaming, I think.
Yeah, it was the 30 and Still Gaming channel. Yeah, so I started a brand new channel, I guess, since the last time I've been on. Yeah. Got monetized in 3 months nice. For it. And it's been really good. We have a really good community over there. It's not about the subscribers. I only have like 2,400, I think, 2,480 or something like that.
That's not bad for a new channel.
Yeah, but when I first started the channel, I was just doing uploads for like Gotham Knights, and I was pulling in like 14,000, 16,000 views.
Wow.
Only having like 300 subscribers and whatnot, and got monetized, and we have a really good community, lots of members. I do a daily show every single day, Monday through Thursday, from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern, and about 4 or 5 months now, we've been doing where I just bring up the community. Like, it's all about back and forth with the chat. Mm-hmm. So I'll bring their chat up on screen. If you're a member of the channel, yep. I'll put it up on the screen. If you're not a member of the channel, I still talk to you and still bring it up. I just don't put you up on the screen and stuff like that. So
right,
it's been good.
Well, I had a question for you because I was listening to your show a couple shows ago. You play a lot of games, man. I think it's safe to say you probably play more games than all of us here.
That's because you just play Destiny.
I know, but I don't just play Destiny anymore. I actually have 3 games I play. I play Balatro. I'm playing Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies, and of course Destiny. But since you play more games than anyone I know, and I'm talking all kinds of games, not just the big AAA releases, I get frustrated trying any new game where I'm not used to the controls or the mechanics. It's as though I just want to fall into an easy chair for that right. game and just know the controls intuitively without having to stress and understand what the game wants me to do with my controller. And let's face it, tutorials are not the greatest in some of these games. So my question to you is, what process do you go through whenever you're trying a new game? And how do you avoid the frustration that comes along with learning a new game? Because you've played a lot of games, dude.
I don't even think about it. I just
really?
Play it. Yeah, like there's the little details that happen. Like if I'm playing like Fallout 76 or a Bethesda game, they always put the jump button to Y. Why, I don't know. But then when you play that for a couple days or weeks, and then you jump back to another game where A is jump, and you forget that, you start losing a little bit when you're in a gunfight or whatnot. And then like B is roll in some games, but then another game might be X. So like the little difference there kind of gets frustrating, but as a streamer it's kind of funny because people are like, you're terrible, and I'm like, well, I'm not Shroud, so you're not here for the gameplay, you know what I mean? Like you're not for the headshots, you're here for more of the humor and the talking. So
but you play games like really small games, I mean stuff that probably gets a couple thousand people playing it maybe, but yeah, man, I always admired you and your brother just have such a love for games that you try all kinds of stuff. Where I like shooters, man. I got to do the shooters. But Balatro, I mean, I never thought I'd play a poker roguelike game, but Balatro's definitely got its fangs in me. But I always admired that about you, man. The fact that you just step in there with the greatest attitude and try new games. And it's just always been really cool.
Well, like right now, I'm playing a game that was one of the guys from that made RuneScape, which is now called Brighter Shores, and it's basically it's RuneScape.
Right.
I'm playing it. It's very small game, but it's interesting. I've been playing that. I've been playing TCG Card Simulator, which is just made with the Unity engine. It's fun. It's just stupid. You're a comic book. If you're a comic book guy, you own your own store and stuff like that. And you're doing trading cards and board games and comics. I play Ice Road, or not Ice Road Truck. It's called Snow Runners, the trucking game, which is. Can we curse? Are we allowed to curse?
Go for it. We're past our 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's a shit ton of fun, but it's very frustrating. It's like the Dark Souls of driving games, right?
Really?
Like it's brutal. And I play a lot of games. Game Pass has so many games, so we try different games all the time on Game Pass. I have a kid. I don't have a lot of time to spend $70 on every single game that comes out. So, Game Pass helps us out there. And then other games that are indie games, they're cheap. They're like $25, $30. You know what I mean? You can buy 2 or 3 of them for the price of one like pre-ordered like Assassin's Creed game. So
you have to tell us the story of your experience playing Planet Coaster this week or last week. It was so funny.
Are you playing the new one, Planet Coaster 2?
Yeah, I'm playing Planet Coaster 2, but I bought it originally on the console because my son wanted to play it, right? So I have a 10-year-old son, and he wanted to play Coaster, and he's like, can we get it? And I was like, let me see. And I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, okay. So I bought it. I was like, I'll stream it, thinking it would be, pretty easy. The controls are absolutely horrendous speaking of controls, right, are horrendous. Like it takes, you take a mouse on the PC, you're just moving the mouse over and then click, like pick your next rock that you're going to put down or tree you're going to put down or the wall you're going to put down. It's that quick. It's just click, and you're done. With the controller, it's a 15-step process. You got to hit the left button or the RB button, then you got to hit the D-pad to go down, then you have to scroll over, then you have to hold the X button to put the radial wheel up, and it's just like, oh my god! And then you don't know which way is like. So there's like different axes, so the Y-axis, the Z-axis, and stuff like that. So then you have to push down the D-pad, then you got to push right or left on the D-pad to go down one level.
I would have been out.
Yeah. So I got so frustrated, but I love that game so much. I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy it again. So I bought it for a second time on PC, and now it's much better.
Different game. Yeah.
Totally different game. I even tried on the console to hook up my mouse and keyboard because it does work with it. It's much better, but still it's a little frustrating with it. So I was like, screw it, I'll just pay $50 and play it again.
Wow. I was laughing when you were talking about how frustrated you. I think you spent a couple hours. You couldn't get the power on, I think, to the whole park or something.
God, yeah, I don't know why they added power. You have to add power for every like.
Oh yeah, have to have a power plant.
He said people were walking by and they weren't going in. I'm like, why aren't they going in my park?
It wouldn't even come into the park. They wouldn't even open. Like the line was. I was like, why aren't they coming in the park? I was like,
he couldn't get the power on. He left the power off.
Yeah, I was watching some people stream it, and you saw you have to do power now. Yeah.
You can shut it off in sandbox mode, but in the regular mode, you have to have power, and you have to have a power distributor. So you have to have a generator and then a power distributor.
Wow.
And then it has a radius around it. But I think you can put like 2 rides, and then you have to put another one. So when the third ride you put down, you have to put another power plant or another power generator and then a distributor. And I get it. It's interesting, but at the same time, it's like I don't want all that. I just want to build a park.
Yeah, I got you.
It's not made by the same company that made like the Jurassic Park. Building game?
I don't know if they did the Jurassic.
I know they do power in that one too. It
actually might be because they do Planet Zoo, they do Planet Coaster, they do City Skylines. I don't know if they did the Jurassic Park one. They might have. It seems like it is.
Yeah,
they do great. I'll tell you what. If you've never played City Skylines, if you're like a SimCity guy,
I love that game.
You play that game?
You turned me on to it. I actually bought it. I bought it on Steam. Yeah, it's in my Steam library.
You played it? Hold on. When's the last time you played it?
Just chill, Chad.
7 years ago when it came out.
No, I did play it. It's been a year.
2 out now?
It's been a year.
Last year. Yeah.
It's been a year.
And when it was a year, did you play for more than 15 minutes or
I
less?
did. I actually played it for a couple hours. I love that game. It was fun.
He played the tutorial.
Dude, I love real-time strategy games. Believe me, I'm cut from the same cloth that Sarge is. I love.
Are you sure you played it and didn't watch someone play it and thought you played it?
The Empire Earth, I think I put 100 hours in that game. I love that game so much. And now that I heard they're remastering it, so I might actually get it again. But I remember playing that on my early PCs when I had just a regular PC.
Remember Command and Conquer?
Oh, all those games. They were so much fun.
Games, oh my God, they were so much fun.
Command and Conquer but they had the video cutscenes that came in when
you had the actors like Jenny McCarthy and all them in it and stuff. Yeah, they brought
ahead of its time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
Anything else you've been doing? Anything else you've been playing this week?
I've been trying to. I started earlier this year. Well, I originally started a podcast with and did guests with my brother, and then we just made GXG where it's just us two talking. And then this year I started up another podcast called Chatting With. So I bring in other YouTubers, pretty big YouTubers. 300,000 subscribers. Nice. 100,000 subscribers, and they're all over the place, right? It could be a gamer, it could be a person that does like entertainment stuff.
Right.
I don't know if you guys know Paul Chatto. I brought him on and talked to him. I brought in another gentleman called Greg Owen. I talked to Kingard. I talked to Ginger Prime. I talked to J Shock Blast. So lots of different people across all the spectrum of YouTube. I interview them about, how do they balance their life, and how do they balance their work life, their family life, and a YouTube channel, doing what they do. And because I always like learning, so I always liked having a conversation with them. And it's really like a laid back. You're much more organized than I am ever. Even with your audio podcasts are fantastic.
Thanks, man.
I do nothing, no prep. Like I bring them on and I just talk to them like a conversation, just like a normal conversation.
Right.
I might ask them like, where'd you start off at and stuff like that. But there's nothing planned. I don't send them a list of this is what we're talking about. It's just come on the show and bullshit with me. It's more like a Joe Rogan type of style where just bring a guest on and just banter back and forth with whatever topic.
Nice, very cool. Well, I'll go to you, Kingsley. I know you're under the weather, man, but what have you been doing this week?
I feel like there was something interesting. Oh, just the Jazz game last night. I mean,
No. Tell us about that. Tell us what you did.
Yeah, luckily, where my wife works, her boss has a little bit of money, and he has bought up a bunch of seats, center court. And if he doesn't always use them, sometimes he'll give them out to employees or whatever.
Nice.
So we've gone a couple times now, but got a last minute invite to go to the Maverick game last night, Jazz Mavericks game last night, and why not, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's how I got sick. No, it wouldn't go that fast anyways. But no, it was fun. I'm not even the biggest sports guy, but you're always going to have fun when it's VIP seats and in a live show, right? Even
right there.
someone like me that doesn't like sports.
Those are awesome seats.
It was fun.
Were you on the court?
He was pretty much
like 4 rows back.
4 rows back.
Oh, nice.
And he was center court. I've been behind the basket I've been behind the goalpost on Magic games, and man, you can hear everything there.
I've only been on the court because I got paid to work the camera, but that was about it.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, and funny enough, I have not camera work, but for the Jazz production guys, I used to maintain their computers, the video editor guys. And so I've gone to the press box before. I sat next to Thurl Bailey before. It was kind of fun.
Nice.
But it's been a hot minute since I've done that. So now it's just if I get invites through work or whatever. But anyways, it's a pretty good game. I haven't been doing too much in gaming this week other than playing through some more. I'm almost done through my replay of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And then excited for the update of Destiny that's coming out next week, the new Act
2.
And then excited for some movies, but I haven't seen them yet, and I know you have, Gator.
Oh, I'm going to talk about it. Top 10 movie for me this year, the movie I'm talking about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to admit, there's not been that many great movies out this year. I've been disappointed. But anything else, Kingsley? Anything else you've been up to?
Nope, nothing else for me.
All right. What about you, Chet? What have you been up to, man, this week?
Caught up on the Penguin. Watched that last episode.
Oh, still, I'm not there yet.
So is it good?
The way it ends is really good. The way they ended it, and
is it 8 episodes or 10 episodes?
It's not 10. I think it's somewhere between 8 or 9, something like that.
Okay.
So the last episode was this past Sunday. So they ended it very well. And I actually looked up. I wanted to see when it took place. This takes place in the timeline like 2 weeks after the Batman ended. The movie ended. So I kind of wanted to know where it fell into that because it's the same Penguin from the movie. May
I ask what's the time span during the show? Like, does it take place over a week, over a month, over like? Do they mention that?
I want to say they mentioned it's not very long. It doesn't take place over, I would say, a couple weeks at the most.
The reason I ask is because if Batman doesn't show up in the show,
he does.
You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. So I'm assuming it's a smaller window, like a week's time or something.
Yeah,
like
it
that.
is.
Yeah.
It's just focusing on the Penguin and how he's kind of coming into the world. So,
that's what I love about Penguin. It's about it. It's not about him as a boss. It's his coming up and how he gets to become the Penguin.
Exactly.
It's great.
So,
sort of like what they did in the show of Gotham.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Something like that. Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. So I finished that. I got caught up on that. Started watching a show on Peacock that I wanted to watch in October, but never got around to it with everything else, called Teacup. It's it's horror. It's a horror show. It's like 35-minute episodes. I think there's like 8 or 9 of them. It's a family in Georgia on a farm, and I've watched the first 2 episodes so far, and it's just like there's something weird going on. Animals are acting weird. There's real, like, people listening to music and there'll be high pitch noises in it, and like the first episode starts out with this woman running and spouting off words. She's just talking crazy and everything. And the girl that's in it, if you remember the TV show Chuck, remember the blonde girl from Chuck?
Oh yeah, she's Mass Effect as well. Yeah.
Yep, she played Miranda in Mass Effect. Yeah, she's in this one, and she's a vet. And like I said, the second episode, or the first episode, she has a son who wanders off to go find a goat because they live on a farm, and he runs into the lady that's like talking crazy crap. She's bleeding. She's got like this something in her eye. The sun falls down and she comes over his face, and like this green thing flashes over her eyes, and then his eye flashes green, like it transferred somehow. But we don't know I don't know what it is yet. I haven't watched enough episodes. And in the second episode, all this crap's happening. This guy in a car, like, they have no power at the farm, like their cars aren't working, nothing like that. And some more people from the surrounding area show up at the farm because she takes care of animals. And this guy shows up in a car with a gas mask on, and he takes and starts painting a blue line around the property. And the husband sees the guy in the car, and he goes running towards him like, "Hey, can you help us?" And the guy gets out a whiteboard because he's got the gas mask on, so he's not talking. He writes on the whiteboard, "Do not cross the line." And he holds it up, and the guy's trying to get near the line. He shoots a gun. He's like, "Do not cross," like holding the board up, "Do not cross the line." And come to find out what happens if you cross the line. I'm not going to say it in case anybody watches it, but a dog comes running after a guy on the farm, and the dog crosses the line, and something happens to the dog.
Oh, man.
You finally see what happens if you cross that line. And so,
I love stuff.
Yeah,
like
I finished the second episode. I wanted to see the third one, but I just haven't had time to keep going. I had other stuff going on, so I had to stop.
And of course, it has to be dramatic. They don't just say, "Don't cross the line," because this will happen. They just don't tell you.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. I mean, I wanted to see, something was going to happen. Something was going to cross the line. Somebody or something was going to cross the line, and you were going to see it.
Right.
So I started watching that, and gaming-wise, I've been playing Call of Duty multiplayer, and I got into Warzone. I started the new season of Warzone. Season 1 of Call of Duty kicked off yesterday. Played Warzone with some friends from work, and we won our first 2 or 3 matches, and then that's the first time I've played Warzone. Like, I've had it downloaded, I just never jumped in to play it. It's fun. I'm enjoying Call of Duty multiplayer. I haven't played multiplayer since, I think, Xbox 360 was like Modern Warfare 2 and everything. So
wow,
it's been a while. But I'm enjoying the crap out of it, and that playing WoW. I just redid my mods tonight. Was firing it up to play around with them and everything. So, I mean, other than that, I think I logged into Destiny on Tuesday or Wednesday. Looked in the shop and then said, "Okay."
He's falling off the wagon. He's getting on the wagon. He's getting on the wagon.
No, he just checks in.
It won't be me getting. That wagon's like a one-wheel wagon. It's like a unicycle for me.
He's just seeing if there's anything to buy for Bright Dust. That's what I do.
Exactly what I was looking at. I was looking at the store. Yep. And I mean, I'll probably check out Act 2. I paid for the year, so the year's paid for. So I'm going to check it out. I'll do the story and then right back to whatever else I'm playing.
You gonna crank out the season pass? You think?
Nope. If I will probably not hit 100 on this one. I mean, I'm up there. I mean, from what I've done, I'm in like 60s or something.
I think I'm at 90.
So,
I think. Yeah.
But I will. If I don't hit 100, I don't care. This might be my last trip around the sun for Destiny. I don't know about Frontiers if I want to spend the money on it.
Well, we'll see.
I may be done with the game.
Have any of you guys played the Destiny Rising?
Yes, I did.
Yep.
Yeah, I got access to the alpha, the closed alpha. It's Destiny. You can tell it's a little off. It's a little off. You can tell it's not the developer that made the game, but I tell you what, they came damn near close. And for a mobile game, a lot happens in that mobile game, but you can just see all the microtransactions where they're going to get you. They don't show you in the alpha because they probably don't want to scare anybody off, but I can see all this stuff. It's like, but I tell you what, I love progression, and every gun progresses. Everything has levels on it. And even some of your crystals and some of your materials you can actually rank up as well. It's good. It'll keep you busy, but you better have your credit card ready. So, I mean,
if you're impatient, right? Like you.
I definitely could get into it, but I got the real thing on my, my gaming monitor here. I don't really need to play it on a mobile game, but I could see if I was at the line at the DMV and I had to kill 30 minutes, and that's the only time I'll jump on any kind of mobile game, but I'm usually on Facebook anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
it'll be a big success for them.
I think they'll do pretty well. It's well made. It's well made for a closed alpha. It really didn't have a ton of hiccups. It ran pretty smooth. And
I think it'll do. I think it'll do something.
I mean, I think it'll do well
for a mobile game,
solid for about a year, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah. For me, I've been farming the Haunted Lost Sectors. Still working on getting all that stuff done. I'm still trying to get my 450 precision frame auto rifle Braytech Werewolf. I'm trying to get the perfect rolls for that. Still don't have my Lone Wolf tap the trigger. I'm working on that. I've been slammed with work this week and last week, and Thanksgiving's coming up. So it's a kind of thing where I'm just all hands on deck trying to get caught up. Milton threw me for a loop. It probably took me out for a week and a half. So I'm still backpedaling on that stuff, but really quick here, Black Ops 6 Zombies. I've been leveling up my weapons because I want to level all my weapons that I want to use and then jump into multiplayer. So I haven't jumped into multiplayer since I played the beta, but I do love the omnidirectional movements. I do love using that and stuff. But let's see. I did get the PS5 Pro this week. I did finally get it. It was delivered. And if you want me to tell you it's so much better than the PS5, I'm not going to tell you that tonight because I really haven't had a chance to try it on other games. I want to try it on Elden Ring because I heard that Elden Ring's a little more stable on the Pro than it is the PS5, the normal PS5, but I can't prove that yet because I haven't played it. But I will tell you this. After all the updates and downloads, I still have 1.9 terabytes of space to download games. And I downloaded Destiny, Destiny 2, The Last of Us Remastered, Returnal, Tetris Effect, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, Remnant 2, Black Myth Wukong, Warhammer Space Marines 2, No Man's Sky, and I still nearly have about a terabyte left for games.
How many terabytes are in the thing?
Two. And they actually spare a lot of the video memory for all the upgraded stuff. They actually spare it and don't take it. They have extra space.
Right, it's not 2 terabytes with the stuff in there blocking that. It's like a separate.
Well, I'll give you an example.
The 2 terabytes after the stuff that's on there.
After the operating system updates, my regular PS5, which now is in my big screen TV, so I can shoot zombies in the head on my 72-inch now. But it's the kind of thing where once you downloaded the operating system updates and all the stuff, you only had 800 gigs for games, and that's not a lot. I kept having to delete games to add a new game to play, and it was just such a pain in the butt. So I had plenty of room on this, and it runs super quiet. I showed some pictures of it in the Discord. It's about I'd say it's about 30% smaller. It's like the slim model, and I'm looking at it right now. It's just very sleek. All the lighting used to be on the top of the PS5. All the lighting's at the bottom on the PS5 Pro. I didn't get the stand. I don't think it needs a stand. It sits on a hard table. I don't think I need to worry about that.
Are you going to 3D print the pizza warmer from Pizza Hut?
No,
put it on top of your
no, I'm not getting all that
stuff. I saw that.
I'm not going to get all that stuff. No, I don't think so. No, I'm a very simple man. I have very simple needs. And I know I saw that last night on your show. It's funny as hell.
I was like, who's doing that?
And then the gaming chair, the speakers you could clamp on your gaming chair. Well, how do you clamp it on this thing? This is an office executive chair. I don't know how they're going to do that.
Yeah, that's not a gaming chair.
It would drive me crazy. This thing's better than a gaming chair. I've been in those gaming chairs. They're not comfortable. But and I got an old man back, so I need all the extra support I can get. But I did play Crucible on Monday night on the PS5 Pro, and it ran real smooth. Like I said, you're not going to see any major differences because Destiny 2 is not one of the games that's been enhanced. But I always play, I think 4K 120. It's upscaled, so it's not exactly 4K.
Not real 4K, yeah.
It's not real. But I'm curious to see how the what do they call it, SDDR or something on this? The AI that's built into this. I'm curious to see.
The pisser.
The pisser. Yeah, exactly. I'm curious to see how that works. I did get the new PlayStation game that everyone thinks is going to be game of the year. The what's it? The bot game.
Astrobot.
Yeah, I did go ahead and get that game because it looks fun as hell. I think it's going to bring me right back to my Mario days and my Crash Bandicoot kind of days.
Yeah, it reminds me of those types of games back in the day. It looks like it's a good game.
Yeah,
my son has it on his PS5.
It looks fun.
Did they code that for PS5 Pro?
Exactly, the PSSR. Yeah. I'm curious to see how it does on that. So, that's it in a nutshell. Entertainment is what I wanted to talk about. I've been watching the franchise on HBO Max. I'm still loving that show. The Diplomat. My wife and I just watched the next episode of that on Netflix. Fantastic show. I'm waiting to watch the Penguin episodes. I'm on halfway through that season. But my wife and I saw Heretic on the Dolby Atmos theater screen at my AMC theater because I have AMC Subs A-List membership. And I have to tell you, I'm not a big horror movie guy, but this movie was so memorable. I'm still remembering this movie 3 days later. But
it's not horror, right? Isn't it like thriller classification?
It's anybody see Black Phone?
Yes.
It's like Black Phone.
Yes.
It's like that movie.
Oh my God, that'll be
and Black Phone was good. Black Phone was good.
Yes,
but this movie, I tell you what, Hugh Grant was fantastic. It was unnerving how well he played his role because you're used to Hugh Grant as this charming Englishman, right? But he came across as the creepiest guy, but very intelligent. He's like gaming these kids, but you could just sense something was off about him though, and he portrayed that very well. He was very good at hiding that fact. But overall, I'm not going to give away anything here. The story is very well laid out. The entire movie seemed like a sequence of levels that led to something very disturbing at the end. I don't want to spoil anything, like I said, but there's a scene in the movie where he's talking to the girls about all the religions in the world, and the manner he presents his argument was chilling. And he refers to a Hollies song. 30, you might know this song. The Air That I Breathe by the Hollies.
I would have to hear it.
We had to hear it. I had to play it tonight in the car. I can't get this song out of my head now. So every time I think of this Hollies song, The Air That We Breathe, I'll have to go back to this scene in this movie. It was that good. But, he talks about all the religions in the world and he's referring to this Hollies song that's playing in the background that like I said, I listened to this as a kid. It's 1974 song. And he talks about the band Radiohead. It's just a pure gold. This whole scene was set up so nicely. This is going to be probably a top 10 movie for me this year. To be honest, like I told you guys earlier, the movies have kind of been average to me this year. But this one stands out. Solid top 10. We still have 1.5 months left. So we'll see what else gets into that spot. But, I give this one 4.5 stars. Great movie. A must watch. If you can handle the dark movies like this one, there's Rotten Tomatoes has it at 92% certified fresh from critics and 78% from audience. I thought it deserved like a 90 if I was to give it an audience score.
Still good. Yeah.
Very good. So definitely want to see that one, Kingsley. You're going to love that one. Couple movies I'm seeing coming up, Gladiator 2 and Wicked. You know, the Thanksgiving.
Gladiator 2. I can't stand Pedro Pascal. He's in everything. I'm done seeing his face.
I know, but it's Gladiator 2 and it's Ridley Scott, man.
I don't care. I'm not even watching Fantastic Four next year because he's in it.
I know he's in everything now, isn't it?
He's in everything. Yeah. Like there's no other actors in the world. Yeah. Only Pedro can play it.
But Dune Prophecy is now out on HBO Max. Can't wait to see that. I'll probably be watching that tonight after the show.
That's the series, right? The series.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's about the Bene
Does that take?
It's about the Bene Gesserit. It's about the Bene
Does that
Gesserit
take place in between, or does that take place after?
I think this is a prequel. I think this is before Dune. This is what sets up all the Bene Gesserit and what their role is, I guess, in the world of Dune. I don't know, but anyway, that's it for me for tonight. But
real quick, I didn't know you were talking about movies and stuff. I watched The Gentleman on.
I haven't seen that.
It's on Netflix, I believe.
Wait a minute.
Right?
No. What was it about again?
The Gentleman. It's there was a movie called The Gentleman.
It's on Netflix, I think.
I think it's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix. Yeah. And it's about this British family. Their father dies, and the younger son takes over the estate over the older brother, and the older brother's pissed. Like he loses his shit. Yeah. And there's a business on their property that's not. Yeah, there's a business on the property that they didn't know that was there, and then drama ensues throughout the.
It's a great movie.
Very well done. Yeah, it's a great show. It's a show.
It's a series. It's not a movie.
Yeah, it's a series. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good.
It's a good show. And then also over on Hulu, I've been watching Murder in the Building.
How's this season? This the latest one?
I'll have to say.
Okay.
The writing's great.
Okay.
As always, but I believe the show jumped shark, and the reason I think it did is because they're bringing way too many celebrities into the show.
It's like the Star Wars thing. Everyone wants to be on Star Wars, so now everyone wants to be in 30.
Where Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez by themselves are very good in the show, but now they're bringing in all these other B-listers, A-listers, in the show, and I'm like,
trying to do like cameos. Is that what they're trying to do? Like,
they have even Longoria playing herself. They have Zach Galifianakis playing himself, and they have Eugene Levitz as playing himself, and they're supposed to be. And I'm just like, why are you doing this? I was like, come on, but the writing is still good.
I thought when Meryl Streep was on it jumped the shark,
which was last year. Yeah, the last season. Yeah. But both good shows. If you want to watch good writing shows and stuff like that, those two are good.
I have a surprise question. You guys do not know I was going to ask this tonight, and I know it's like a little extra topic of the week. I wanted to ask you guys. I was listening to a gaming podcast this week, and they were talking about a lot of these PvP streamers, and I'll say some of them play Destiny. They were talking about how they're just burnt out on PvP games. They started out, they were top echelon players and streamers in Destiny and some other games as well. But they said something that really surprised me. They said that they wanted to put more time into mastering single player games. Mm-hmm. And the problem with PvP games for me, like let's just say Call of Duty, for instance, the new Call of Duty, you have to master all the weapons. You have to master all the mechanics that they've changed, which isn't much, but you have to master all the maps because they're always throwing a new map at you. By the time you got to put a ton of time in to become a pretty top tier player. And I've put 9 years into Crucible, so I feel very comfortable playing Crucible now. And I think I'm pretty successful playing it. Doesn't matter who I'm playing with. I usually do pretty well. Not boasting, but I'm just saying I put my time in. But these guys, and one in particular said this, I don't want to put all that time in. I don't know, maybe I'm getting older, but I don't want to put all that time in to master these PvP games. So my question is, it seems to me that single player games are kind of making a comeback. And instead of having to play other players and master that, you only have to master what the developers are sending your way in the game. So it seems to be this is the way things are trending. And also Sony just announced in their earnings call that they're going to be releasing a single player game every year consecutively from their first party studios. So 2-part question. Are single player games coming back? And are the PvP games like the battle royales and the extraction shooters and the arena shooters, are they going to be going more minimized? And at the same time, is Sony going to abandon that Jim Ryan live service vision? What do you guys think? Do you think Sony's jumping or ditching the live service thing that they wanted to do? I know this was Jim Ryan's vision, and I know Jim Ryan's not there anymore. But is it with Concord flopping so badly, and that was a PvP only game, Do you think we're coming into the decade of single player games again? Or is this just
I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah, I mean, this is actually, to me, I saw this even a couple months ago, and I'm glad you brought up the Sony thing because I was going to mention that also. It's a little bit of an overcorrection, but I also think it's warranted. It's not even just PvP. The bigger discussion is live service games, so whether they're PvP or not. And we've gotten a little oversaturated with that. And it's an overcorrection now. I think it's not a bad choice. I think it's a smart choice. But with Concord not doing well, and Sony's problem was just going hard into it a little too late, I think. Sure, they maybe made some bad decisions along the way too. But it's smart to focus on the single-player games at least. And it was being over-focused, I think, with the live service stuff. So if you can have the rockin' single-player games and you're doing good, and then really try to find we're oversaturated with live service games, so just stick with what works or make one unique thing here or there, but you shouldn't have all your eggs in that basket anymore, in my opinion.
Anybody else?
I don't think single-player games ever went away.
Really?
I agree.
It seemed like there was a drought of them for the longest time.
No? But more people are considering now, like you said, the streamers.
It's because ones like Black Myth Wukong have come out.
I was going to say that.
You've got these big name games that have come out, so it's more focused. Those single player games have always been there. I've played them. Everybody's so focused with live service games and PvP ones. And I can tell you right now, battle royals, they ain't going nowhere. Okay. Fortnite's not going anywhere. Call of Duty's not going anywhere. None of this is going anywhere. It's just what's popular right now.
Okay.
I don't see single player games as making a comeback. They never left. So,
but they might be focusing on them a little bit more.
I think they've become more popular lately. I mean, I'm here. Those games I just listed that I downloaded, all of them are single player games, except maybe a couple of them I could play with someone else, but they're pretty much one player games.
I mean, I agree that I don't think single player games ever went away. I laughed when EA said that no one's interested in single player games, and the number one selling games every year are, besides the Call of Duty, obviously Call of Duty is just massive, but everything else after Call of Duty, there's always single player games at the top of the list, and they've always been there. I mean, look at Starfield, right? Look at Elden Ring. Look at Skyrim. Look at Mass Effect. Look at Red Dead. Look at There's so many games that have come out every single year that are. Black Myth Wukong was Hogwarts Legacy last year. It was the number one selling game last year at 25 million copies. So I don't think single player ever went away. I think I watched the video today on stream with Asmongold, and he was talking about how all of a sudden he woke up. He said he's 34 now, and he's like, I don't want to keep playing the same online service games anymore because I want my time respected. And I've been saying this for years, and I'm 46, right? And I, like you said in the beginning, I've been playing games every single year all the time, and I want my time respected, even in the single player game or the co-op and live service games, right? So this is why I stopped playing Destiny, because there was a time that they kept opening their mouth and bullshitting. I was like, yeah, no, I know this is bullshit, so I'm not going to play your game anymore, because I've seen I call it the wizard behind the curtain, right? Like you're playing a game and all of a sudden you're like, hey, wait a minute, this is an awesome game, but then you peek and you see the old guy behind the curtain. You're like, wait a minute, this is not exactly what I thought it was. And that's what he did in his video today. He's seen the wizard behind the curtain. Oh. To answer your question about the streamers, can you say what streamers they are, or no? You don't want to say the names of the streamers?
There's some of my favorite streamers. Whoever's listened to me knows I like one particular streamer who's starts like a Lupo, ends with a V. True Vanguard. True Vanguard said
True Vanguard.
Yeah, and I was shocked because True Vanguard loves.
True Vanguard's in his mid-30s now, isn't he?
He's in his mid-30s. He's got kids, married.
This is perfect, right? So the people that were look, multiplayer games and PvP competitive, when you're competitive in PvP games, that's you might be good. Yeah, you might be 46 and think, or 50, and you might think you still have the good reflexes and stuff and you're good, but that's a young man's game.
You have to adapt.
with how fast they can do it. I mean, look at what happened when Ninja was playing Fortnite, where he blew up, right?
Yeah.
But then you saw other people running circles around him, the way they could build the buildings and whatnot, and the way that Shroud, slides and does like no scope 360s, and there's so many people that are out there. They're great gamers, but when they start to get a family, when they start to get a little older, they're like, I don't feel like putting this time in, because they want their time respected. In PvP games, they're always nerfing, they're always buffing, they're always bringing new things in, they're always doing new seasons in, they're always doing a whole bunch of stuff for the games. And a lot of people get up, and there's always this argument of, if you're a diehard PvPer, they will argue with me left and right every single day that no, this is how it is, everyone loves PvP. I'm like, PvP is not why people play most of these games. Come on, when Destiny 1 came out, okay, 83 or 88% of the people that played Destiny 1 stopped playing after they beat the campaign and they put it down. And then they slowly started coming back to play the PvP and the Crucible and whatnot. Yep. But everyone usually just plays the campaigns. And if it's a live service game, like I played Marvel's Avengers, I played Fallout 76, I play a lot of live service games. I play for the story, and then I put it down, and I'll come back for like a season, as RNG was saying earlier. He comes back to check the store or whatnot, and that's what I do with like Fortnite. That's what I do with Fallout 76. You come back to check the store, what the season is, if it's going to be something to bring you back. But single player games have never ever gone away, and PvP is oversaturated. There's so many games that are coming out. I mean, just look at this week alone. You got Marvel Rivals coming out in just a couple of weeks, right? You have what's the other one? Marathon that's coming out in Extraction. You have Arc Raiders coming out. You have the finals. You have Rainbow Six. You have that's not even including all the other heroes that are out there. Right. So yeah, there's just an oversaturation with it, and the player base is just not there for all of them.
Well, sorry to
ramble.
That kind of goes into my topic tonight, but. Yeah, it seems like, well, I talked about this in previous shows. I don't have enough time to play all these live service games. I don't have time. So I play Destiny Crucible every Monday night with my buddies. Usually Warcry is there because that's all he plays is Crucible. He hasn't even finished Final Shape. I'm totally disgusted with him. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's surprising, but I think Akudo Papa in chat said, I'm in my mid-30s. I'm still good at PvP. It's the increase in cheating on all platforms that has pushed me to PvE. True. And I have to admit, there are some times when I get shot, I'm like, okay, could that have been a Zim? Because that was freaking accurate.
Right,
it was so accurate.
It could be, but I don't know.
You never know. So you're always questioning yourself, am I just getting bad? What's going on here? But it could be that people in your lobbies are using Zims, which is a no-no in Destiny Crucible. And, or God forbid, all the wall hacks and all the other stuff that you see all the time in the extraction shooters. And it's
like being a Florida guy. When you see a body of water, you have to assume there's a gator inside there.
There's a gator in every body of water.
Right.
I don't care
every
how
time
small.
you play a PvP game, you're like, I think that might have been a cheater.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that's the way I feel. So like I said, sometimes, in Destiny it can fool you because sometimes if the perks line up perfectly, like kill clip and certain things work together in your build, you can be lethal. So I always have to keep that in the back of my head. Okay. He probably had kill clip equipped because he just killed a guy before me. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. But you always question it. And it's not like I'm like, no one can kill me. Believe me, I get my ass kicked a lot. Right. In fact, I got a Crucible video coming out soon where I'm going to show you what a really good team looks like playing against. And I'm getting my ass kicked. I think I had a .30 in that game. So I'm going to put that out very soon just to show people that all of these videos that you see of these people just crushing it in Crucible or in PvP, it's the highlights. They clip that part and they post that in their video. They don't, and if you watch a streamer all day, even Grenader Jake, there'll be games where he just gets killed. And that's the wrong word. He gets slayed in some of these games. And you're like, you know what? He will say it's a cheater. Who knows? Maybe he's getting up there in age as well. So maybe he's slipping a little bit. So anyway, I just want to bring that question up because I was listening to a podcast and I wrote it down in my notes. I said, I got to ask the guys this tonight. So, all right. I know we got a lot going on tonight. So let's get into our first topic of the roundtable tonight, and we'll be right back.
Hello, Scumdeath here, your favourite uncle, and you are listening to the most heavy metal Destiny podcast on Earth, Guardian Downcast. Guardian Downcast! Ow!
We're going to start out with Mr. Kingsley Mack.
All right.
You have your topic of the night tonight, so what do you have for us tonight, sir?
Yeah, tonight my topic is definitely more on the techie computer side, which, you know, we have topics like that from time to time, and it is vaguely related to gaming also, actually. But I wanted to talk about the general idea is Intel having problems? Now, I have a couple of articles to give some background here. One of the latest articles talk about a class action lawsuit that's being brought upon them. I'm not so much here to talk about the merit of if that's warranted or not, but I do want to talk about the details about how the 13th and 14th generation CPUs that they've been putting out have definitely had issues. No one can question that. Basically, the stats show that the 13th generation have 4 times higher return rate than the previous generation, and the 14th generation ones have 3 times as high return rate. But basically, they have a class action lawsuit against them stating how, you know, this has been going on for a little bit, and Intel didn't really do anything to let people know what chips are having the issues, and people are getting just sick of returning them, and some issues with that. Now, more news shows that, and this may have just been a rumor, because, you know, when companies are being talked about being bought out and stuff, usually what's happening is those are true things, but then they just don't go all the way through, right? You know, there was the rumors in the past Microsoft was going to buy Bungie, and then Sony, and then that happened or whatever. Microsoft probably did talk to them, but it just didn't.
Oh, they did. They 100% did. Yeah, they were overpriced themselves, and they turned it down.
Yeah. Another good thing that shows that Sony did pay too much money for Bungie. Mm-hmm. But anyways, Qualcomm was rumored to buy out Intel, and I have a friend that works at Qualcomm. Fairly high up, and he couldn't confirm anything to me or not. He kind of had a little wink or whatever, but it may or may not still happen. But basically what's going on here, alongside just these 13th and 14th generation chips that Intel pops out, what their bigger issue is, though, is Intel isn't able to keep up with mobile chips. So Intel makes good chips generally, but they're still power hogs. They run hot. And for mobile devices, phones, laptops, things like that, there's another type of chip, if anyone's heard, called ARM technology. ARM chips do so much better in mobile stuff. They use like a tenth of the battery because of just how they run, and they're very fast and really good too. Intel is still on an x86 architecture, but ARM chips, Apple's been using it for quite a while, always in their phones, and their computers have had it for like a few years now. Even Microsoft, where their Surface tablets and some of their computers, Microsoft wants to push ARM too, but the problem with Windows PCs is that's going to be too long and too hard of a tradition, because think about how crazy that would be for Intel and AMD to cycle through. And again, AMD is not really having the problems, but I'm just talking about ARM technology in general, which I really like. So Intel's been known that they can't get their chips to run as cool and as battery efficient as ARM-based chips. So they're really losing the market on mobile computing devices. So I just want to know what you all guys thought. I mean, they can't make as good of mobile chips. They have a class action lawsuit on the 13th and 14th gen, and they might get bought out by Qualcomm. Do we think Intel's having issues?
Well, I have a question, because this is out of my, because I don't really follow this stuff. So I do know it takes a really long time to make chips, right? It takes what, six to 9 months to, like, once you put the order in and they go in, it has to be a very, you know, a clean environment and whatever they're doing to get the chips made. So did they, obviously you might not know, did they screw up the process in some way, shape, or form during that time frame, right? And now they, instead of eating it, they're like, well, let's just push them out because we made these things and they're not the best, but we gotta see. Let's see what we can do. What percentage we can put out there to sell where they don't get the return. Because if they just ate it, they lose everything, right? But if they at least put it out there and they get like a return rate of like 30% or 40%, they still have a somewhat money that they're making back on it. Is something like along that lines?
It is along that line. I didn't go to all the details in the article just for sake of time tonight, but you're correct. I mean, that's basically what happened on the 13th to 14th gen. And you can't really blame them on that so much, but because there is that high return rate and people are able to prove that it's a pretty bad on these 13th and 14th gen, that's why the lawsuit's coming against them now.
I know earlier this year, didn't Intel lay off a bunch of people?
That also,
layoffs, maybe quality control, maybe a little bit because of maybe less employees. I mean, Bungie's doing it.
A lot of companies that's happening with, so that wasn't so much into my equation for tonight. But yeah, that doesn't help also.
Well, here's another thing. Because of when the world got shut down, right? And there was a backlog of chips in order what they had to do. We're now seeing the effects of what happened 2 years ago. Now, you know what I'm saying? So this is why they're trying to boot up a new industry. This is why they're trying to build the chips in Texas. But that fell through, didn't it? And that would take, I think, 5 years to build or something like that for the facility. So now you're only getting the chips from Taiwan, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's so tenuous at best.
So there's only two companies making the chips, and they're both overseas. Is that correct, or is there three?
Taiwan Semiconductor is a big one. You talk about Intel or ARM. I don't know who makes every single one, but obviously Taiwan Semiconductor, and then I forget the other ones.
Intel, ARM, they all go through the same manufacturers over there, don't they?
The actual building, mostly. I know Intel wants to have the building in the U.S., but like you said, that's not really quite there yet. So
they're still like 3 years away or something like that.
It's a huge, like billions.
Supposedly, I forget who, and I think Apple's working with this, but they are going to bring an ARM, supposedly a manufacturer in the U.S., which would be really nice.
Now, are they using those chips in the ARM chips that you're talking about? Are they using those in the new iPhones as well?
They've been in every single iPhone from day one, and they've been in the Apple computers for about 3 years now.
3 or 4 years, yeah.
I
use them in the laptop.
I barely dip my toe in this stuff, but because I read so much. I
know enough to sound stupid.
And Apple used to use Intel, actually. They never used Intel for their phones, but they stopped using Intel for their computers about 3 or 4 years ago with the ARM chips.
It allowed them to do more with their OS using that ARM chip.
Yeah, I know it's a technical thing you guys may not have as much opinion on, but I hope that I don't want Intel to go down in flames, but I hope
at least
people can realize that Intel isn't the only game in town. And I know even on the PC side, people have been okay with buying AMD chips for a while, but this is even a bigger discussion than that. I think the technology of x86 is inherently way behind. And unless Intel can turn it around quickly, and I think if Qualcomm was to buy them out, because Qualcomm's also an ARM producer. I mean, they don't, again, build them, but they design them, the Snapdragons and stuff. And if people can move more to this ARM technology, and there's rumor that Intel has some projects on that too. They probably are secretly working on it, because they realize that x86 is an older technology. But if we can move to this new architecture, I think we'll be better off.
Yeah,
but Intel really does seem to be having some issues right now, with the manufacturing plant, with the lawsuit, and with, chips. Oh, the last thing I was going to say is Microsoft, also Windows, just released an ARM version of Windows downloader to the public a couple days ago.
Wow.
And before, you could only get it if you had like the Surface tablet as like a rebuild or reinstall. But now anyone can download the full ARM Windows version. And this, to me, is showing that Microsoft's putting a little bit of money behind this, too. They know that it's going to take forever for everyone to switch off of x86, Intel, AMD, but ARM is kind of where some things are going, and I think Microsoft's seeing the writing on the wall, too.
Yeah. So sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Akudo Papa said that Samsung, NVIDIA, Qualcomm, Amazon, and Apple make ARM chips. I can't verify that, but that's what he's saying in the chat. So
yeah, well, they design it, and then they're made by the plants.
Okay,
by the
gotcha.
plants. So my question is, if they today say we need to fix the chips, how long does it take to get through this Intel to get to the next Intel?
5 years, maybe. It's going to be a while, right?
Right. So they're pretty much dead in the water right now, just sitting there. Yeah, that's crazy.
I do not like
maybe 3 years if they went really fast, but a full transition could take 5 years. So,
wow.
Okay, so now I'm thinking, because I wanted to build a new computer, So now my computer I have now is an Intel. It's an i7, Intel chip. So now what I'm hearing is don't buy Intel. Is what you're telling me?
No, not necessarily.
Hey, I'm running an Intel chip right now. It runs just fine. I'm gonna knock on wood somewhere.
Oh, mine.
Yeah. Look. For PCs, for desktops, Intel and AMD are still fine because they can use power, be it power hogs, right? Because it's more like if you ever are looking for a laptop, though, try to look for an ARM chip for sure because the battery life is going to be so much better. But also, even on that point, I think you get more bang for your buck with AMD over Intel. Just my personal opinion, but yeah, Intel's totally fine still in desktops.
Kingsley's an AMD
as of right now.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
That's all. Just a short little quick topic.
All right, we're going to move to our next topic.
Yo, everyone, this is Sweaty Spooks from the Blueberry Lounge, and you've been listening to
Guardian Downcast.
Be sure to tune in every week to see how the guests will score the speedrun, and better yet, join the Discord. You just may receive an invite to be on the show yourself. Later, Guardian.
All right, 30 NSG, your turn, man. What are you bringing to the table tonight?
So what I'm bringing to the table is I'm always confused because the video game industry, people love buying games because they're excited for like new games and stuff like that. But we've seen it time and time and time again that the games come out, they're broke, they're buggy, and people that are coming from my stream have heard this 1,000 times, right? They're broke, they're buggy, they're unfinished. Okay, it takes them 15 to 18 months to fix these games. It doesn't matter if it's Cyberpunk 2077, 2042, brand new games that come out now. And my question to you guys is, because I'm always in a stream by myself talking to people, right? So I actually get to see faces and ask you guys, why is it that gamers just don't care about these games? They're like, I'm having fun, so I don't care. Where I come from is that I'm trying to give criticism so they change it, right? Because you're paying your $70 now, not 60, but 70, and sometimes 100, 120, 100, whatever for the premium edition. And I'm trying to get you the best product that you have, because in no other retail area in the world would you accept anything when you pay for it right then and there as a half-ass product, right? So again, my question to you guys is, why is it that people are okay paying full price or more than full price for unfinished, broken, buggy games in this day and age in 2024?
Kingsley, you want to tackle that? Mm. Well, okay, I'll give you.
I think you said having fun. I don't know. I still have fun.
I'll give you,
and I have the money to spend. So
yeah, I'll give you my experience. I bought into the hype with 2042. We all know my story because we've talked about it, Mike. I was so excited by all, if you remember back to Battlefield 2042, they actually had a storyline that they were producing every week. They were showing you these soldiers and what was going on, and you actually knew the characters. I mean, they spent a ton of money on the promotion of this game, so much so that I actually started a podcast called Battlefield Gamers.
And they forgot to make the game.
And then I played I jumped on the release day, and not only was it buggy, I mean, I remember running, it's Battlefield, man. These maps are enormous. You have to run forever if you don't have a Jeep or something. And I was like, you know what? I want to learn the maps. I'm going to run. I remember running, and I would glitch and go back 5 paces. And it's like I was walking in sand, and after about an hour of trying to get to my spot because I kept zigzagging before I could get to the actual place to get into a firefight with somebody, I was so frustrated. And this is probably the first week they released this game. It was a shit show, man. And I said, this is not Battlefield. I don't know what this is, but this is not the Battlefield I know, because I'm a Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 player, and I know I missed the boat with Battlefield Bad Company 2. I know I heard it's the greatest Battlefield yet. I never was around. I was playing Call of Duty. I didn't know about these games until after the fact. But I had so much fun in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. And let me just be straight here. DICE has always had a buggy game. I don't know what it is. If they're just being so aggressive and so enthusiastic, trying to try new things in the gaming industry. They really push their game. Their maps are huge. You got so many explosions. You got real-time destruction. I mean, you got so much going on all at one time on a map. I can understand it's a lot of coding to make all that work perfectly. But
after Bad Company 2 is when Battlefield 3, it took 18 months to fix. Battlefield 4 took 18 months to fix.
Somehow I played through it, but it was miserable. The
only one that came out that wasn't buggy and is actually really good was Battlefield 1, which came out and it was really good. World War I one, yeah.
Just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
I don't really care about bayonets and
So why do you buy games that are not complete? Like why would you give a company full price money for a half baked game? Would you do that for a steak? Would you do that for a car? Would you do that for a house? Would you do that for anything else that you buy and purchase, even though you have the money and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, well, I will tell you this: after 2042 burned me so badly, and I closed that podcast down faster than ever. When I realized it was not the game they promised us. I think I had one guest on, and that was it. Good friend of mine too. I have never pre-ordered a game except from Bungie, because I've played this game for 10 years now, and you can say what you will about Bungie and Destiny, but I've had so much fun playing this game for a decade now, and I'll probably play it for another couple of years at least. But other than that, I do not pre-order games. New Black Ops 6? Didn't pre-order it. I know the hype about it. I know they put it on every freaking commercial on TV during Monday Night Football and stuff. I didn't do it. I tell you what I did do. Here's my method when I decide to get a game now. I'll wait for someone like SkillUp or someone online, maybe even you, Mike, that tries the game and actually streams it and evaluates the game, and we actually get to see some gameplay, because that's the one thing, let's face it, they never put in any of their promotions is actual gameplay. If they do, it's just the smallest amount of clips. But until I see that gameplay, until I get a review from YouTube, from multiple sources, not just SkillUp, I will not buy the game. So those games that I mentioned that I downloaded, all those games work perfectly because they've been out a long time. They've got it all figured out. Bought a few of them at a discount because I have PS Plus, but that's my method now. I don't buy. I don't get into the hype. And I think you're asking us why some of us just buy these games when they're broken and not ready. I think if anything, especially with Bungie, their promotions team is outstanding.
Oh yeah, the trailers look awesome.
They can really suck. I mean, Bungie's the only developer that can do this to me, especially with Marathon. I hummed that song from Marathon on that reveal trailer 2 years ago now. I still can hum that song. It was such great music that they, pumped into the trailer and stuff, and everything you saw was like, oh my God, look at that. She's got she got face paint, and you get all excited. But I'm like Asmongold now. I've seen the wizard behind the curtain now. And now it's like, yeah, it looks good. And I'm the same way. I'm just as pessimistic when it comes to movie trailers. I'll watch a movie trailer and I'll go, I bought into the Megapolis. You seen that movie yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
What a shit show. What a shit show of a movie.
But here's the thing with video games, though, right? You don't have to buy it day one.
Nope.
All you have to do is wait like a day or two to see what's happening. Yep. And then you save yourself $70, $80 and you go, you know what? I'll wait 2 weeks. I'll wait a month until they put the first patch in. Mm-hmm. Star Wars Outlaws came out. It was broken buggy.
Yep.
But they only charge $18 for their service. So,
Yeah, so to answer more fully, I've never been burned yet. I do a little bit more of a cost-benefit analysis. Like, I'm not just going to buy Battlefield like out of the blue like Gator did. But Star Wars Outlaws is one of the games I was excited for. So on day one, I was getting it no matter what. And I wasn't burnt, even though it had bugs in it. I had a lot of enjoyment and fun from it.
I remember you talking about that in your show. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed it, just to let you know, but it was, to me, it needed another eight months to be baked in the oven.
Yeah, I'm not going to wait if the game's out and I like it, so sorry, I'm going to have it, play it, and have fun.
That brings up a good point. Jimmy Rayner put this in chat. A lot of people have been really dog pounding on the new Veilguard game. How do we know if it's a good game or not? Because it seems like there's so many different views of this game. I mean, SkillUp shit all over it. Said he hated it. Worst game ever.
Not everyone. It's
No,
also
that's
fairly
what I'm
good on
saying.
Metacritic.
That's what I'm saying.
I
There were
lost
other-
a lot of respect for Skill Up on that Velgard review. I really did. I don't value his reviews as much.
I mean, I'm not a Dragon Age guy anyway, but I'm not a fan of BioWare, but like I said, I've heard so many differing opinions that I'm a little confused whether I should play this game or not.
Well, for that game specifically, there was a couple of people that talked, constructive criticism. They didn't bring up the whole, ordeal that was happening with Skill Up and also Matty Plays. But all of a sudden now people that gave it a high score are now coming out with other articles and then starting to criticize the game for what it is after the fact, which is a little weird as well. So it makes you look like, did they shill for the game or whatnot? And you could, I say the smell test, obviously, but obviously it's a video game. You have to see it with your eyes and play it. Like, nothing's wrong with Veilguard as far as running wise. It runs really well. People were saying it runs smooth and everything, and that's not the problem with that game. But they were complaining about that game was that the writing was bad, and it didn't feel like Dragon Age, and that's what people's most complaints was. But the mass media or the small minority media talks about the other thing, that was in the game, and that's what overshadows everything else about the game.
I'm wondering, because of this Veilguard situation, if the mainstream gaming media has lost a little credibility.
Well, of course they have.
It seems like everyone's taken a
They
hit.
lost that a long time ago.
Think so?
Oh yeah. For me, I'm like Kingsley. If I enjoy the game, I'm going to play it. I'm going to buy it. I don't give a shit what the critics say. It's the same thing with movies. If I want to see the movie, I'm going to go see it. If I enjoyed it, that's all that matters.
That is.
I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I like I said, I lost a lot of respect for Skill Up with his initial review of Veilguard. I have the game. I've enjoyed every minute I've played of it. Yes, some of the writing is not great with the words that the people use and the way they respond to stuff. But gameplay wise, I'm enjoying the living hell out of the game. So
that's good to hear. And reviews for me too. I'll take that as a small equation. I mean, you got to definitely
it's very small.
Salt.
Yeah.
If like Metacritic has it an 82%, and then that'll add like 10% into my idea of like what I think of it, and then I'll watch some streamers or if it's a game I'm not sure about. I don't buy every game on day one. Only certain ones that I'm really excited about. And then otherwise I'll look at the reviews and stuff. But as part of it, and then I'll talk to friends and stuff.
What about like Cyberpunk 2077 when it came out, right? Obviously,
I bought it when it came out.
But it was literally broke, right?
I had no other.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But if your neighbor's house is on fire, but your house is not on fire, you're like, well, I'm okay, so it's okay. But their house is on fire, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that game was literally broke, buggy, and they apologized because they knew it was that bad, and yet. 3 years. It took 3 years. Right. Yeah. It took 3 years. No Man's Sky. Same thing.
Yes. That game was dead in the water. That game was.
Now it's one of the best games.
It's one of the best games. Yeah.
30. I know you loved that game when it first came out.
Yeah.
And
I put 200 hours into it, and it was terrible.
I watched one video on YouTube showing everything that they've done to improve this game without charging a dime. And I bought it. I said I have to support this studio. Yeah. And I've played. Okay, I played about an hour and a half of it. Okay, I just set up my little hut where I can do stuff, but the worlds are just amazing, and I love discovery type stuff. I know Kingsley, that's what Kingsley likes too, and I guess No Man's Sky has like randomly generated planets and stuff and worlds.
18 quintillion, 18 quintillion planets.
That's amazing. I need to play that more. The problem is too many games, not enough time. It's just like your brother says all the time. Too many games, not enough time.
Yeah.
But that'll be my topic later. I'll wait to comment on that. But I tell you what, as a developer, it's got to be really tough for developers today because we have more information than ever when it comes to, remember the old days? I know you guys do. You get a console and you see a commercial on Saturday morning cartoons about the new Pac-Man game from Atari. And you don't even think twice. You're standing in line at Sears to pick this dang game up.
Yeah, Nintendo Power. I saw the 2 pictures of like bases loaded with like 2 paragraphs, and I was like, "This game looks amazing," right? And then I would pick it up.
But how things have changed. How things have changed. I mean, we have more photorealistic gaming out there now, and we are more critical than ever about every little thing in that game. And
also think about it. When the movie Game Jar talking about came out, there was no social media.
It's really changed things.
There was just word of mouth. So if games
yeah.
sucked, you told your friend that it sucked, and they're like, all right, I'm not going to pick it up.
Exactly. There was no social media. There was, everybody giving their opinion, because they have 20 million different platforms to give it on. It's a big difference. So,
yeah. Well, like I said, I know when you wanted to bring this up, I was already going to say 30. I don't pre-order games anymore, man. And I don't, other than Destiny, because Destiny's earned it. I've played for 10 years on this game, and I support the studio. And I think there was MC Squared even said there were 2 game studios that he supports without fail. And until they fail me, I'll continue to pre-order games. But that's it, because no one else has earned it.
When you pre-order a game, though, and it comes out broken, buggy like Cyberpunk did, right, or Battlefield or any of the other games that came out, that signals to, if you put your hand on a stove, it signals to the brain, hey, my hand's on fire, you know what I mean, type of thing. It signals to the company that, hey, it doesn't matter if it's good or not. Right. We just made all our money back. So that sends a signal. It doesn't really matter if it's fixed or working day one. I get games are supposed to come out. It's fucking hard to make a video game. It's hard to make a film. It's hard to make a lot of stuff.
Right.
But to ask for the money that they're asking and then to fix it 18 months later, that's where it gets me. I'm like, I'll just wait a week. I'll wait a month just to see what people say about it first, instead of everyone going out and buying it and then bitching about it. You know what I mean?
Hey, 30, I still want my 2.5 hours back from Megapolis. I still want that time back. I've never been so close to walking out. I felt like I was having an acid trip on that movie. And my wife looked at each other like, why are we still sitting here? This is ridiculous.
Because you paid for it.
No, I even got it for free. AMC stubs. I mean, okay, I paid for it
for free.
But if you adjust for all the movies I saw that month, I maybe paid $3 for it. Okay. So, but still,
you got your money's worth.
You're thinking, yeah. I'm thinking, okay, we gotta see if this gets any better. I mean, there's been some really bad movies out there. I mean, where's one movie that was like a serious art movie we saw last year? I can't remember the name of it because I've already forgotten it, but something explodes at the end and it's a very serious moment. My wife and I bust out laughing in the theater and people were just looking at us like, what the hell? I think we had a whole art class behind us at the time or something. We just started busting out laughing. Like, what a piece of shit. What a piece of shit movie. But anyway, that's a good topic. It's a good topic, and I think it needs to be repeated a lot because if anything today, games are scrutinized more than ever. But the only thing that I'm really not liking is this review bombing shit. I don't like that on some of these games. If there's someone who doesn't agree with a gaming studio because of something else other than the game being good, that gets to me. I want to know if the game's good or it isn't.
Well, that works both ways, though, right?
Yes.
See, the media doesn't tell you that people prop it up as well because people talk crap about it, right? So what I say on my stream is, if there's 9s and 10s, I throw those out, and I take the 0s and 1s and throw those out, and then you just look at the middle ground, right? It's like what Kingsley said earlier, right? He said that you got to look at what people's opinions, what you like or whatnot. Yeah. So for every 1 or 0, there's always going to be that 9 or 10 because they have a 1 and 0, and vice versa. So you got to look at the middle ground of the 8s, the 7s, the 6s, and then if you look at reviews, lots of people don't look at reviews. No. They just look at the score, right? And they go to 7GN and they see it got a 7, and they're like, all right, it's got a 7, so then they're good with it.
I'll tell you the way my wife and I decide to go see a movie. We'll go to Rotten Tomatoes, or built into the AMC app. Sometimes they have a system too, but we will toss out the 1s because those are people who just hated it on the premise.
For whatever reason.
We'll get rid of the 9. We'll get rid of the perfect 5-star movies because that's probably AI.
Yep.
And we will go to the 3.5-star movies where people write a freaking essay about what they did.
Right. They write a paragraph to tell you what.
That's me. That's the people I'm going to listen to. So I think that's what people need to do when they're looking at reviews, if they're going to, is find someone that's like you, thinks the way you do. And like I said, just like you said, I'll go to the 3.5 stars. That thought it was a good movie, but watch out for this, So
the way I personally do video games is if I don't care about graphics really. Graphics to me it's about gameplay and story for me. So if I look at a game and the gameplay is good or the story is good, like decent, I'll be like, all right, I'll play it, right? If it's bad, I'm like, I'll skip this one. I'll pick it up on sale or whatnot. I just don't blindly just pick up everything because it is what it is, right? So a great thing now is Game Pass, right? Game Pass, because you don't have to pay a day, you're paying $20 instead of paying $80 or $70. So you get to try a lot of things out. It's that demo disc that's in the back of the magazine back in the day. You know what I mean?
And you said this on your show the other night too. I said every game should have a demo. I know. I'm with PS.
Every game.
I'm with the PS. Plus.
Every game should. I'm
PS Plus offers that. They offer you a demo on every game they put out on their
Fantastic.
console.
That's what they
great,
should do.
But I'm paying for that. I'm paying for that.
Sure.
So,
well, you would have to pay for it anyway if it was in the back of that magazine, right?
True.
You got to pay $5 for that magazine.
But
and
you get free demos, which I thought was ironic. I said, shouldn't every game just have a demo? Why should I have to pay for a demo? It's part of the general umbrella of services, $100 something a year, but still, I just kind of shook my head at that. I'm like, well, shouldn't games have demos anyway? If anyone wants to try them, but anyway, we got to keep moving. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Thank you, 30. Appreciate it, man. Yep. Let's get on to our next topic. Remember the days of listening to your favorite radio station and chilling out by the pool, or maybe rocking out in your car singing to those songs you knew by heart on the way to work, only to be interrupted frequently to annoying ad breaks? Today it seems like there's just as much advertising as there is music, and why podcasts have become so popular. But I see more and more podcasts following that same trend, and it seems the corporate machine is slowly intruding into your listening space. This is why podcasts are so great, because we don't have to accept this, and thanks to our Patreon community, we won't be placing any outside ads or promotion into our show. So continue to enjoy our conversations ad-free. If you would like to join our Patreon community, check out GuardianDowncast.com and hit the Patreon button to find out more and how you can help out. Later, Guardian. RNG, you're up, man. I like your topic tonight. So what do you got?
So Ubisoft, with all their issues with Assassin's Creed and everything, are now being sued over the game The Crew. They're comparing they shut down the server for The Crew game, and it's being compared to a bumperless pinball machine, is what this article says. Says, like, imagine you buy a pinball machine years later, you enter your den to go play it, only to discover that all the paddles are missing, the pinball and bumpers are gone, and the monitor that proudly displayed your unassailable high score is removed. So, two people in California, two players of The Crew, are suing Ubisoft in a proposed class action lawsuit over shutting down the racing game servers, rendering it unplayable, because they pulled the old snippy on the Crew server wires back in March, effectively killing the online play. So it started disappearing from owners' Ubisoft Connection libraries. In response, a YouTuber named Ross Scott started a Stop Killing Games initiative petition, and it got to Ubisoft, and I love this line. It says, Ubisoft, perhaps rightly terrified of a protracted skirmish with a man who owns two first names, confirmed an offline mode in September for sequels, but just for The Crew 2 and The Crew Motorfest. It's still the game they actually cut off itself remains unplayable. And The Crew, they first announced that the server, when they shut down the server, this game came out in 2011. I mean, I know it's, a 10-year-old game, but the lawsuit itself goes above the pinball illusion and runs with it, saying that it's chillingly paddle deprived through experiment is exactly what happened when the game servers are shut down. Both plaintiffs own physical copies of the game. So, they own this. This isn't, hey, I have a digital game of it. I have a disc and now I can't play it because you shut it down. Because Ubisoft before has shut down servers, but patched an offline mode like Assassin's Creed 2 and 3. They actually patched it to where people could still play the game.
Yeah, so they're down the road. Yeah.
So they're seeking monetary relief and damages for those impacted by the server shutdown in this class action lawsuit. So, I mean, it comes back to the whole thing, like you're saying, all these games we buy digitally, if they decide you take all these live action games, here we come back to the single player thing, and you take all these single player games that aren't live action, guess what? I can still play Veilguard when they, but if they shut down servers for Call of Duty or Fortnite, you're going to have a bunch of 15-year-olds crying to their mom that they can't play their game no more. So, I mean, yes,
How
this
long
game.
has the game been going?
Huh?
The game came out in 2014, I believe, not 2011. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
it's almost a 10-year-old.
It's 11-year-old game. Yeah.
And he has a physical copy.
Or 10-year.
Yeah, that's what these guys are saying. They have a physical copy. So
I'm just trying to think. Like, I get the concern, but like, you kind of
got to know it too.
Everything will shut down at some point, right?
Well, I think what people are complaining about is there's a single player mode. There's a game mode line where you can play single player, and then there's an online mode. But they shut down the whole game, so even if you have the single player mode, you can't play it anymore. And that's what people are complaining. I don't know anything about it. Same thing happened with Battleborn. Battleborn was a MOBA type game, and it was also a single player game. It got shut down, and now it's a coaster. I use it for my drinks. Because you can't do anything with it.
I was just saying last night.
I've got a character from buying that game on my thing. A little bitty character that came with the game.
I'm going to put that on my background on future shows because my son bought that disc for me for Christmas. He was so proud of himself. He was really young when he bought it.
It was a fun game.
And it didn't last long enough. By the time I tried to play it, there was no way of playing it. It was literally a piece of plastic. It was, like I said last night on your show, I says, I'm staring at it right now. Here, this is important. This is really an important story. I know it sounds like a petty lawsuit, but this, as your brother said last night, 30, this could set a precedent. And
Absolutely.
if this sets a precedent that the studios can shut down these games at their whim, and Kingsley, I get it. How long can you afford to keep servers open? Because you have to have servers for some of these games. But we're talking about a single player game here that's reading a disc. Or it's reading off your hard drive if you're downloading the game on your hard drive. But it's a single player game. I bought that game. I should own that game. Where are we going, guys? Where are we going with this? Where are we going with gaming if we can't actually play our first person or our one player games down the road? I understand the live service. You have to tie in with the Bungie servers to play Crucible with other players. I get that part, but let's just talk about Black Myth Wukong. What happens if next week China just decides or the Chinese developers just decide, we got our money? Suckers.
PlayStation did this with Helldivers. Helldivers 2.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, Helldivers 2 was playable on PlayStation, and then because they didn't sign up for the PSN network, right?
What?
180 countries can't play. Hold on a second.
It's called. Yeah,
they can't play the game anymore. Where they were playing it, they were playing it for 3 months, and then when they initiated the PSN network thing to sign up for, and they couldn't do it, and because it wasn't in that country, they took it away from people that bought the game, and now they can't play it anymore, right? That's happening today. That's happening right now in 2024 with a game that just came out, and now 180 countries can't play the game because there's no PSN network in those countries.
Well, they revoked the PSN thing. You don't have to do that, but still, some of those countries can't play it because they don't have access.
But they already bought. But they
took it out of the store.
That's right. But they already bought the game, but now they can't play because they implemented it 3 months after the game came out. Right. So there has to be. There's no consumer protection. Okay. There has to be laws set to protect the consumers from businesses, because business will do whatever business have to do because they want the bottom line, which is the dollar. Okay, which is fine. Businesses are businesses, but when you take something, and now they're doing this in California. California is they're trying to set a law where they just have to change where it says that you don't buy it. It says maybe licensed or rent or whatever. They're changing the wording. So when you hit the button, it doesn't say that you own it anymore. It'll say like you're leasing it or renting it or whatever.
You're purchasing the license of our property.
You're purchasing the license. You're not purchasing the actual game itself, right? And then other people are complaining that they're trying to preserve the game for the history, like it's going into a museum or whatnot. But the fighting of that is the company still owns the rights to the game, right? There's games out there like Star Wars Galaxies, which was an MMO game back in 2003, and it shut down by Sony Entertainment. And then they closed it. They weren't doing anything with it. And then other people picked it up and started making their own servers with it and started making it themselves, right? There's other games like that as well, where what they're asking for is that, look, put it out there. If you don't want to deal with it anymore, just put out the code or the source code or whatever and let people run with it if you're not going to do anything with it anymore, right? And what they're trying to do with this particular lawsuit is they're trying to get it in a courtroom with an actual jury, okay, which is a huge thing because they're trying to they don't want it in a boardroom where they're just going to settle and be like, here's your 12 cents or put Ubisoft coins and give it to you at a later date.
They're making an example.
Right. They're trying to put it in front of the court for people to be like, just like I asked you, like, would you buy a car with doors missing and get the doors later down the road or something like that? You know what I mean?
Yep.
They want to make sure that the jury is people that are like, hey, this is what we're doing. They're taking our stuff away from us after we purchased it, right? And at that case is, if I'm not buying it, should it be cheaper, right? Should it be like Ubisoft Plus or Game Pass where you're only paying $20, where you don't own the game, you're just renting the game, or you pay $70 and you're paying more to own it, or do you pay more to rent it or lease? So just, you got to call your Congress people. You got to start saying things, because nothing will change if no one does anything, right? And this is what they're doing in Europe, where they're doing the crew, don't kill the crew and stuff like that.
Right.
So it has to go through to protect consumers. And if they get away with this, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse as it goes.
And if it can get stopped and the court rules in these guys' favors, like you said, you got your baseline of other studios doing it. They can say, "Hey, look,
right."
Yep. And
people fought it.
Akuda Pop has a good point. We always click right through those terms of service agreement, don't we? So, well, hopefully it'll be maybe they'll at least put it in
Who's
bold.
read the 15-page document?
Exactly, but maybe they'll make them put a bold writing statement in there saying, "You do not own this game," or something, like you said, Mike. But
just say, "Do you want to play?
Yeah.
Sign your life away, or no." That's what
this really worries me. I put a video out a long time ago when and I know you're an Xbox fan, 30, when Xbox was buying all of these studios.
I'm a gaming fan. I'm not an Xbox fan. A lot of people tell me that I hate Sony and whatnot.
All right. I'm a Sony pony, so I'll just tell you right now. But I don't like what Sony's doing either. But the fact of the matter is, we're getting fewer and fewer independent studios, and we're getting fewer sources to get our games. And I'm telling you, I've been down this road before with all kinds of different industries that we've seen in my lifetime, where we don't have choice anymore. It's either you want to play, then you got to follow our rules. You got to pay your money, and we can turn it off whenever we desire to. And that's what I'm worried about. Is I'm worried that this gaming hobby that I love, the fact that we're going to have less and less control going down the road on if we have any say on how we play these games. In my opinion, if you bought the disc, like, for instance, my son, people ask me, or my family asked me, what did I want for Christmas last year? I says, I don't know. Give me the Modern Warfare, the latest Modern Warfare that was just out. I said, what the hell? I'll jump into some Call of Duty. They bought me the disc. I put the disc in I have the PS5 with a drive. I put the disc in, and it was a pain in the ass, man. Every time I crank my PS5 up, it would auto start that damn disc. And I'm like, no, I don't want to play Call of Duty right now. It would pop up on my screen, and not to mention the disc didn't do crap. All it did was just allow me to get to the servers like everybody else that digitally downloads the game.
Yep.
So the discs are useless. So that's why I didn't buy it. I bought a discless PS5 Pro because I don't need it anymore. But like I said, that's my biggest fear going down the road, is the fact that we are losing rights as consumers when it comes to gaming. And I understand it was a 2014 game. It's been out a long time. But if you own the disc, you own the physical property, in any single player game, I know the reason why they want you to sign into the servers, because they want your data. They want all your demographics. They want all that so they can sell it to their board. But they need to make it where one player games will play directly off your hard drive, and you don't have to sign in to Ubisoft Plus or whatever. You don't have to make an Ubisoft account or whatever the crap it is. I'm over that. I have to do that on Call of Duty now. I own the game, but yet I still have to create a Call of Duty account. I got to go through all the rigmarole of setting that up, and it's just a pain in the ass. So,
because you have to create that account, because like when they do the stuff on Twitch where if you watch for 4 hours, you get stuff, it's got to have an account tied to it. So if I want the drops, stuff you're getting. So I want the drops, then I got to play their rules. I get it. But like I said, I put out a video about this a long time ago. I was really worried where gaming was going. The fact that there's less smaller studios making creative games. And
don't worry, because Audi and BMW are doing the same thing with cars, right?
We're going to have tariffs on those anyway, so don't worry about it.
If you start paying or stop paying for your monthly payment, they shut off the key so you can't start your car.
Oh my God,
there's no seats. There's no right. Where does it go? Where does it end? You got to start protecting consumer protection.
And everything runs with chips. So as soon as whoever takes over Taiwan, we're going to be at their mercy. So sorry, that's very dark. Don't need to go there tonight. So, all right. Thank you, RNG.
Hello, everybody. You are listening to Jealous Gaming on Guardian Downcast.
This week in Destiny for November 14th, 2024. They said this week in Destiny, we're getting ready for Act 2 of Revenant. Only a few more days until November 19th, which is tomorrow if you're listening to this in an audio podcast. What better way to prepare for these activities and story content than sharing some of the changes coming to roaming supers? I think it's me excited, but let's not spoil everything in the intro. They first talk about the Act 2 Revenant live stream, the developer live stream. Did you watch this, Kingsley?
I did. I was a little preoccupied with some work stuff, but I watched it enough and really excited about what's to come. Of course, we'll talk about it more when we actually play it, but we know a reinvented Prison of Elders called Tomb of Elders is coming, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, we were kind of, I don't know if it leaked or what, but we kind of had that pre-information that it was going to be like a Prison of Elders type game, and it looks almost just like it. But for me, I was not impressed with the live stream. I don't know why. I'm looking forward to playing the what's it called, the Tomb of Elders.
Tomb of Elders, yep.
I like the bosses that they're bringing in. I'm probably gonna have a lot of fun with that. But they said it's going to reward you if you are built for it, if you set your builds up for it correctly. So I'm curious to see how that works, because I really love my prismatic warlock. It just kills everything. I love it. But yeah, I didn't like it as much as the last one. For some reason, I got really excited about the potions and stuff. But once I started playing the potion stuff, it was so much confusion at the first week doing that. But I think they really messed up when they released the story all at once. I know they're going to do that again, right, Kingsley? For Act 2?
Oh, yeah, through the rest of the whole Destiny year.
I think that's a mistake, because if anything, I haven't been back to the old city in a while, because I did the story. I did all the steps of the story. It took me an hour and a half, and I pretty much did my normal activities that I do every week. And I'm loving, of course, I love the Halloween event, and that's been taking the bulk of my time, because it's time sensitive. Once it's gone, it's gone. And there's some really good weapons that you guys need to get if you haven't already. You'll have a few days left of it. So, they talk about the new artifact perks, the authorized mods melee, perk has, the armor energy cost of all armor mods affecting your melee are significantly discounted. This will affect me, because I do have some melee mods, because, I like to, whenever I melee something in PvE, it rebuilds and supercharges my class abilities, which puts down my grenade. I eat a grenade and all that stuff, and that's definitely going to help me. Emergency flare is column 2. Emergency reinforcements. It consumes all but one armor charge. Enemy reinforcements. What is this about, Kingsley? Enemy reinforcements.
I have no idea.
That I don't know what that means. Does chat maybe know?
Could be like those little frames that follow you around or something, the little robot dudes.
Okay. The like in one of the one in the lost sectors. Yeah, okay. That
may
makes
have
sense.
talked about in the stream, but I didn't.
I didn't catch that part. The column 3 is called the thick of it. Rapid final blows while surrounded grant you an armor charge, and there's a boost as well. Column 4, curative orbs. The first time you break a target's shield or break the shield of a guardian using their super, you create an orb of power. Definitely be using this one in PvE. And then column 5 is arc compounding. Arc sources deal increased damage to blind targets. We'll get into this. I'm excited about one thing that's coming in Act 2, but there are going to be some sandbox updates that they are going with, and the biggest changes they're making, Kingsley, is the roaming supers. Man, they're going to be really amping them up. No pun intended.
And I think this makes sense, because I think it's being timed brilliantly again with Tomb of Elders. I don't remember how I played Prison of Elders back then, especially because I came into it later than others. But if you think about it, we could be in a good situation where with all the ads that are in there and it's more about controlling the arena. Yes, we're going to have bosses, but if we have roaming supers that are amped up, that could be the play for Tomb of Elders.
Yep. And if I remember correctly, some of these arenas are very tight. And to be able to just use a roaming super and just eliminate the whole room and reset and get back to your spot where you're trying to stay alive, I think it's going to be important. Arc Staff, Golden Gun, excludes Celestial Nighthawk. Spectral Blades and Silk Strike will be changed. On Hunter, for Titan, it's going to be Fist of Havoc. Burning Maul excludes Pyrogale Gauntlets. Hammer of Soul, Sentinel Shield, Glacial Quake, and Blade Fury. For the Warlock, Storm Trance, Daybreak, Nova Warp, and Winter's Wrath. There's 2 there that I'm definitely going to try. That's Storm Trance and Nova Warp, because they've already buffed Nova Warp to begin with, especially in PvP as well. But I'm really looking forward to using my Prismatic combine that with instead of instead of using my gauntlets that create a little arc helper, I think I'm going to put on my helmet that extends the duration of my Storm Trance. I think I'm going to go with that and try it out. They say it's a major change. They'll keep an eye on it. Of course, they're going to fine tune it, I'm sure, if it's overpowered. But they are definitely going to be amping those up. Let's see. As far as the exotic armor updates, the Raiden Flux, let's see. It's the goal that 2 Arc Staff exotics, Blight Ranger and Raiden Flux, have distinct identities. Blight Ranger's rooted in defense, and the Raiden Flux is all about offense. However, we felt it would benefit from a little more punch, especially in harder activities. So the Synapse Junction super damage benefit increased to 20% up per stack, up from 14. Max benefit is now 70% damage increase, up from 50. The Balador's Wrathweavers, I have not used these. At the start of the episode, Balador's Wrathweavers were updated along with other super damage increasing exotics to have a little more potency to Shadebinder's super. Unfortunately, in this case, the change didn't land where we'd like it to. So we're increasing the benefits of shattering targets. So they increased the shatter damage 150%. Fixed an issue where enemies were constantly being boosted. Shatter damage, which led decreased overall damage. So they're increasing the shatter damage, now shows as a yellow number to aid in visibility of the perk. They're fixing Telesto.
Ooh, yeah. This I was a little interested in because, you'll talk about it, but it's getting a buff in PvE and kind of a fix in PvP a little bit.
I am a big proponent of, I've always loved Telesto. I think I have 40-something thousand kills on mine. And I loved it in PvE because it would really wipe out red bars. But lately I've noticed that the blast damage is kind of lackluster. It doesn't really do as much damage as it used to. So in update 8.1.5, they're correcting the issue where the Telesto was not dealing the appropriate amount of blast damage against players in Crucible. And we thought it was more as a might as well give you a little something extra for PvE too, because I didn't notice. I thought PvE also suffered as well. Increased Telesto detonation damage by 20% in PvE. 20% in PvE. That's going to be big, and I love that. It's one of my favorite guns, and so I might be jumping into that.
It really hasn't been. I love the gun too. I know people meme on it, but it really hasn't been amazing for the last few years. But I think with this, it has potential again.
Did want to mention too that the breach grenade launchers, they said the Mountaintop, they said it was unfairly nerfed. So they're the micro missile frame, they're increasing the velocity so players can generate the rocket jumping blast. Can generate with the rocket jumping blast. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't use it for that, but I know people have speedrun stuff with that. Mm-hmm. Crucible Sandbox, the PvP Strike Team update. I'm going to briefly go over this. The higher tier players, they're owning people with Graviton Lance. I've experienced this. Elsie's Rifle, still overpowered. The Bygones and the Rose. And more importantly with the Bygones, it's the High Ground perk. So I'm kind of glad I didn't get that yet playing Gambit, because they're going to nerf that. It's going to be nerfed. So
yeah, see, and back to our discussion we had, do you like that about Crucible? I feel like it's always they're changing guns, and do you get disappointed when they change things that often?
I feel Crucible is like a chess game, and it feels like Bungie is changing the value of each of the pieces. And what you have to do is you just have to figure out what's the actual sequence, or what actually can you use together that works the best for you. I kind of like that challenge a little bit. I like trying to figure out what works for me, but I can't admit it is frustrating. I get real comfortable using Bygones or pulse rifles in the game, and the fact that they're going to give them a little bit of a nerf, I don't know. We'll have to see. This got me upset a little bit because I use prismatic in the Crucible, and in a nutshell, they're saying it's too much. It's too much. It's too powerful. So they're giving all prismatic subclasses a blanket 15% additional ability cooldown penalty inside Crucible. So that means more mods, right? More mods? Yeah. Yep, exactly. Jimmy's talking about they add new pieces to the chess game. Yeah, that's true. That's true too. But it is a game to me, and it's all about putting the pieces together that work for you. Storm's Edge. I don't know about you guys, but this super is really tough to defeat in PvP. So they're reducing the height of the damage impulse from 5 to 3.5 meters, 3.75 meters. They're reducing damage resistance against players from 53 to 45. That was the problem I had. I would almost kill him. I get him down to 20% health, and I would get obliterated. And I would just lay on this guy coming at me with it. So, bolt on cast and during the spin attack. So moved from tier 3 to tier 1 super cooldown. Suck it, hunters. Suck it. I hate this super in Crucible. I really do. But they are nerfing Knucklehead Radar a bit. It is nice that you can just look and it'll give you wall hacks if you're looking at or aiming at somebody. Well, they're going to change it up a little bit. They changed how the perk activates. Now it requires the wearer to damage the player to mark the target. That's a little more difficult. And the target is marked for 3 seconds, not 7. So that is definitely a nerf. I've seen a lot of people using Knucklehead in trials and stuff like that. If you're, in PvP. Weapon archetypes. I'm not going to get into this too crazy. Precision bows. They're increasing the body shot damage by 10%. Aggressive hand cannons increase damage 3%. Igneous hammer, reduced stability, handling, and aim assist because everyone uses it that knows how to use it. Better Devils increase stability, handling, and aim assist by 3. Yesterday's question corrected an issue where Headseeker was not appropriately increasing critical hit damage after dealing a body shot. Machine guns. Yeah, they're going to nerf them a little bit in PvP. The magazine sizes are all coming down for the perspective, whatever machine gun you're bringing in there. I don't need to get into the details of that. Perks, High Ground. All right, let's get into it. All told, High Ground offers too much of a damage buff to be triggered on such a low barrier. You only have to be a meter below people or above them and it activates. For now, we have reduced the stacks that are given for dealing damage with a primary weapon specifically against players down to 1 from 3. This should make the damage boost significantly less powerful in PvP, but we'll leave the efficacy alone in PvE. If this change is not enough, we'll address it again in future release, either by requiring a greater height differential, which cannot be so easily triggered in PvP, that's true, or by reducing the damage bonus against players as a whole. So, dealing damage to a player with a primary weapon now only grants a single stack of the damage buff. Dealing damage with a special weapon or against combatants continues to grant maximum stacks. Explosive payload, they're reducing the splash damage. It is very powerful, especially on hand cannons. Sorry, my voice is going. Telesto corrected an issue where the Telesto was doing less damage than intended in PvP. I might actually pull that back out. We'll see. I'll test it.
Give it a try.
I'll test it. Ariana's Vow fixed critical damage bug in PvP. Don't use that, so that doesn't apply to me, but maybe you guys. Thorn and Lumina increased base stability by 5. Okay. General Crucible. Now, I sorry, Kingsley. I know this is going to bore the hell out of you, but I got to talk about this because
of course, yeah.
Team-based matchmaking has been a thorn in my side, and I do not like the way they've been doing it lately. And I know they said last act that they had a bug, and the new 2.0 team-based matchmaking was not put in place. So now they're going to try to put this in place, and this is what they say. Since update 8.10, we have been running a variant of Snake Draft lobby balancing in our 6v6 and quick play playlist called Paired Player. Alongside this, we have continued running the standard random lobby balancer in trials and the previously discussed lobby rank average balancer in competitive, while we ironed out some of the additional issues with Paired Player that presented themselves in this mode, which provided us with real-time comparisons. It gets really down to the nitty-gritty here. So if you're a stat nerd, then this is definitely where you want to come and read, because I'm not going to get into all the little stuff here, but they talk about their reasoning and changing the way they do matchmaking with this Paired Player. So what they're saying here is, while Paired Player still underperforms pure average skill lobby balancing in terms of making teams as close to evenly skilled as possible, we've seen significantly less instances of all the lowest skill players being stacked onto a team with the highest skill players. This is what True Vanguard has a problem with all the time, is it'll be just him and a bunch of lower tier players against pretty good medium skilled players on the other team. So they're supposedly fixing this. So we'll have to see. But in a nutshell, they're improving the way they do team-based matchmaking and the lobby balancing. So Mercy rules. When we rolled out our new Mercy rules in Revenant, we knew that it would increase the number of games ending in Mercies correspondingly. The Mercy trigger threshold was set at a very low value, only 40% of the score needed to win, because the window within which it would trigger was very small. Once we opened the window up, the number of games that could be end in Mercies increased dramatically, but this has not actually reflected a reduction in match quality. In fact, in prior systems, we had been holding steady for years with approximately 30% of the control games hitting Mercy threshold, and at some point during a match, but only 8% of them ended in Mercies. With the initial system we shipped in Revenant, combined with a new lobby balancer, only 27% of control games were hitting the Mercy threshold, but 23% of the games ended with Mercies, indicating our Mercy threshold was set too low for the current window. We wanted to get the number of games ending in Mercies back down closer to where it was when we opened the rules, hence our experimentation with the Mercy score thresholds from last week's patch. This has brought down the number of games hitting the threshold by 18%, with the number ending in Mercies reduced to 13%, and we will continue to keep an eye on match outcomes as the episode progresses. I'm not going to get too crazy here, but they're increasing the Mercy window, which has had improvements in decreasing the number of quitters and the number of matches going to time. So we're striving to keep those improvements alongside these changes. So I'm just going to wait and see on that. All right, Festival of the Lost. They have some really cool artwork here. Really cool stuff. I'm not going to, you know what? We'll just share it for our chat here. If they don't look at the TWAB. See if it comes up. There we are. Nice cat pick there. Yep. Looks like my fire team never meets the quota. Oh my gosh. What game is that from? That looks familiar. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Would this Titan make good friends with Elsie Bray? Oh, Orange, that's really good. Back to the Future. I love this stuff. It looks really good. Yeah, that looks really cool.
Did I ever tell you Back to the Future was filmed the mall scene at our local mall?
Yes.
They grew up in Southern California.
Did say that. Yeah, you did tell me that. I remember that. I think it was in your first show you were with us. You mentioned that. Yeah, they did a repeat of the game coming out from Bungie, Marathon. They did a repeat of the trailer for Marathon. Looks really good. Pumpkin carving. I mean, we're kind of past Halloween. So, I mean, here it is. Real quick. Yep. Street Fighter X Destiny 2. What do you think of this, man? Did you see this? They're bringing Street Fighter themed Ghost.
I mean, they got to give us a little bit more than just a ghost. You hardly see ghosts anyways.
That's true.
I don't know how many people are going to care about this.
Oh, man. That does look pretty neat. But, okay. I know they had a Street Fighter. What was it? Emote that I'll definitely be getting, where the two guys are fighting.
That one looks better.
Like a hologram.
That one definitely looks better.
Is it Bane? Who was it? Anyway. It's been a while since I played Street Fighter. I'm talking a long time, man.
Tell me about it.
So, player support report, Kingsley. What's going on with player support report?
Yeah. I do want to mention one quick thing, and we may have talked about this already, but it's still super important. If you're going for Icebreaker and the Catalyst is part of the quest that you get, do not complete the quest before you actually get Icebreaker, because right now there is a bug that you will complete the quest if you don't have Icebreaker, and the Triumph will auto-complete at the end, but then you won't be able to get the Catalyst.
Oof.
I'm sure they can fix that eventually, but...
You want to wait for that? Don't do it.
If you do happen to get Icebreaker right now and you completed the quest, that sucks. You can't get the Catalyst, so you may want to wait on completing the quest.
Good to know.
Other than that, other stuff, shit's broken.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, there's some more art. Sci-fi horror movie of the week. Really good. Before we leave, would you check the crazy video of a group of old school Guardians working together to get every single exotic from Destiny 1? Wow. GG, folks. Destiny 2 community team, thank you for communicating with us once again. I know we're coming up to the big break where you guys will be taking a break, talking with us and taking your holiday breaks, but we always thank you for communicating with your community. So thank you, Destiny 2 community team. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's it, everybody. That is the TWAB for this week, or this week in Destiny, or this week at Bungie. I'll say it that way if you guys needed to. But thanks, Kingsley, for sticking it out with me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yep, no problem.
Hey, just a quick reminder that we have several Destiny 2 clans, and we invite all of you to be a part of it. If you're looking for a home to share your Destiny experiences, now would be a great time to jump in and get to know some of these great gamers. We're here for the community and friends you make along the way, and no hardcore restrictions. And enjoy what time you have, for Destiny is all we ask. So if you're looking for a clan out there, join our Discord. That's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast, and just reach out to a mod, and we'll open the door for you. So join us, and later, Guardian. All right, that means it's down to me, my topic of the Roundtable, and this was actually from a blog I read from Medium, and it was a very short and sweet blog, but it kind of made me think about gaming in general. And the topic of my discussion is why I don't regret spending money on video games. I know this sounds like more like a statement, but I need to explain why I feel this way. First, the obvious reason is that a video game for the full price of $60, $70, $100 is certainly more expensive than a book or renting an entire TV series on Prime. But if that game is fun to play and not buggy and unfinished, like 30 mentioned earlier, I know I got burned on 2042. I already talked about that. Then the hours of gameplay are merely pennies on the dollar if you compare the entertainment value and think about all the interaction with the game as well. I mean, a game is not just a bunch of cutscenes, but you have to use your brain to maneuver through puzzles or sharpen your focus on a target, like with first-person shooter games, or even plan ahead and strategize with like real-time strategy games, or even setting myself up for that 50-round solo zombie session that I want to do. You're fully interacting with a video game versus just sitting there passively watching something on a screen like a TV sitcom or even a movie or a Mike Tyson fight. And I don't need to reiterate, the cost of bringing a family to the movie these days for just a couple hours of entertainment. The second reason I never regret spending money on video games, and this pertains mainly to the single player games out there, is I can keep this game in my digital collection on whatever platform I'm using, whether it's my Steam library or my PS5 console. And with a click of a button, instantly I can access it and play wherever I left off last time. It's kind of my new age DVD collection, but I don't need a DVD player to play games. And more importantly, I don't have to create a physical space to store all the media like I did with my DVDs, which now sit in a multitude of boxes in storage. Live service games are a bit trickier, though, for me to use long term. I mean, Destiny's probably the only exception for me, but they give me something that I consider my next reason I don't regret buying video games. And that is that the online live experience, the live service games, get me involved with a community of gamers, usually looking for the same things that I want to get out of the game, whether it's leveling up, getting some vanity cosmetics to show off, or completing stories as a group. Of course, there's the PvP aspect as well, which I love doing. The next reason I buy video games, and I already mentioned on the last Roundtable episode, is that I feel being a gamer seems to give me a leg up on non-gamers out there today. I mean, I talked about my eye-hand coordination is still really good, even as my friends my age start losing those important reflexes. I feel like I have a big advantage. I think I called it my old man superpower last time I talked about it. I mentioned how my problem solving is much more streamlined now that I've, gamed all these years. And when I talked about my termite treatment, how I was able to more rationally set out my plans because I had to do that trying to put a raid encounter together. Things like that have seemed to overlap in my life a lot. But I have to admit, I was kind of blue this week. I mean, it happens. I've had the same job and career for over 30 years, and I know all about burnout. It's almost cyclical with what I do. I was feeling a bit low, and for really no outward reason. I think I was getting a head cold as well, which didn't help. And it just zapped my energy this week. Not to mention that there are stresses in all our lives. I mean, I think everyone sweats that rent or mortgage payment that seems to sneak up on everyone every month. But I've been stressing over little things like trying to get all my work caught up as the holidays are rolling around. And I'm usually down to the wire trying to get all this stuff done. This time change really affects me as well, as I can't understand why we still move our clocks back every year. Christmas presents, my wedding anniversary this month, going on vacation later this year. All these things cost money, and the money train and expenses never stops. Even if you're on vacation, there's no time out. It can be a lot is what I'm saying. I mean, I don't think I need to explain all these things. I mean, we're all adults here. We know what we deal with in our personal lives, but I think you guys get my point. If we actually allowed everything in the world to get to us, I think our heads would explode. I really do. It seems like there's been something in the air this past week. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been driving around this past week, and I've had more aggressive drivers just cutting me off, and just everyone seems angry out there. And I mean, I think as a nation right now, we're just wound tight. I think everyone's kind of feeling it right now. But as soon as I popped in Destiny 2 this week and started jumping into haunted lost sectors and started farming weapons and materials and then jumping into Gambit and the Crucible, I think I had a mission I'm on a mission to get that damn super black shader. And you know what? I wasn't thinking of anything else for those few hours. Man, video games have really saved me in some low times in the past. And today it still works like a charm. I think this is why those chores games like Power Wash Simulator and others can be very relaxing to some people. And don't get me wrong here. There are weeks when I don't even need a video game and I just want to chill or watch TV or hang out with the family, but it's always there if I need it. But like we talked about, there's one thing that concerns me, in the fact that we're losing control if we can even access some of these games, like we talked about with the crew, with your topic, RNG. I mean, I think I asked this last time, but I'm really worried sometimes where gaming is going these days. The fact that you have to buy a license for games, it just gives me pause. It just really does. But that was the main reasons that I never regret spending money on video games, because for all those reasons I just mentioned, I never regret it. So that's my topic. What do you guys think? Gator, you're wrong.
Question?
What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about the fact that I don't regret spending money on video games?
That you don't regret, or like just us don't regret?
I mean, do you guys feel the same way, or do you guys ever regret spending money on video games? Or I know some of you use Game Pass and other services, but I just want to explain why I don't regret for those reasons.
Have I bought games in the past where I'm like, I shouldn't have probably bought this? Yes, that's happened, but 9 times out of 10, no, I don't regret spending money.
It might have been once or twice.
I bought the game, I wanted it, but I could probably count on one hand games I probably said, "Oh, I shouldn't have bought that." You know. So, but.
And we already talked about the license thing, so I won't reiterate that again. But the others that haven't spoken yet, do you guys feel the same way, or are you more guarded?
Yeah, no, you're a good company, Gator. You're allowed to buy video games.
No, Gator, you shouldn't have bought 2042. What the hell was wrong with you? We tried to tell you.
I mean, try to be thoughtful about it a little bit, but
I did tell him not to buy it.
He did. He warned me. He warned me at lunch that day. And I said, dude, I have a whole podcast about this game. This game's going off, man. What are you talking about? This game's going off. It went off all right, off the cliff where it went. But I guess
that could be a topic. Like, do you regret buying video games that you didn't put much thought into? You know,
I do regret that I didn't do my due diligence before buying a game, and that's why 30 brought that up in his topic. But I'm at a point in my life where the video game hobby is not really overly expensive for me. I mean, I know there's a lot of younger people out there who have, $100 is a big deal to them, and the fact that they're going to spend $100 means they better put some time out of that game. So
better be worth it. Yeah.
But for me, it's, I've been gaming since 82, and all these years, I can't think of a time when I thought I was wasting my money. Even if I know 2042 is a big exception, but the fact that I have all these games in my PS5 Pro loaded and ready to go, whenever I'm ready to play them or whenever I'm ready to jump back in Elden Ring, it's going to put me right back where I finished, where I left off. So
the only thing I've ever regretted buying was the season pass for Division 1. And after that, I've never bought another season pass. I said, I'll just wait for it to come out and then see how it is. And then, because I hated that I had to pay the extra money up front and I had to wait a year for it to get it. Right. Yeah. And this is why, even Space Marines 2, right? I think Space Marines 2 is an excellent game, but I didn't want to buy it because for the full price that you're getting right now, I think it was only $60, by the way. Yeah. You still have to wait 1 year to get all the content that should have been in the base game, right? And because they're giving it to you for free, you're paying the $60 now, but you have to wait 12 months to get it all in the game. And I was like, I'll just wait 12 months to get the game then, because that's the way. So. But you're absolutely right. Gaming in general is still like pound for pound, buck for buck is the best piece of entertainment you're ever going to get for the price. Because if you go, all right, well, if I sat in the theater for 80 hours, how much would that movie cost? You know what I'm saying? Like that's. So I always, and each game it's different. But if it's like a open world game or a survival game, if I paid $80 or paid $60 for it, if I get 60 hours in, I'm good, right? Like Destiny, I have like 3,100 hours in, and I have like 30 cents per hour. You know what I mean? It's like it's like ridiculous on the price. So I have no regrets for video games, but I also don't buy games I'm not interested in. Right. So that's why I don't have any regrets in the games I like, because I know what I like, I know what I want to play. And if I don't know what it is, I'm still going to get enough time out of it. And this is why I play games when I buy like TCG or Planet Coaster. Like I'll play it nonstop for so many weeks, and if I never touch it again, I'm good because I already got my money's worth out of it.
I guess
were you saying on that? I thought you said you almost like bought it a second time, or was that you had it on Games Pass and then you bought it?
He bought it.
Understand that.
Planet Coaster 2. No, I bought it twice. I literally bought it.
Awesome.
It was $50 on console, and then I bought it again for $50 on PC.
Because you knew you were going to get your entertainment value out of it, right?
Yeah, because I knew I already knew I liked it. I already owned Planet Coaster 1. I already owned City Skylines. I'm a fan of the company, so I know I'm going to get my money.
Easier controls on PC too.
Yeah, it was one right. Well,
yeah, and you have to buy it again if you're moving to a different system. But again, it's an easy decision if it's a game you like. I mean, I've never really had a need to buy a game twice, but if I wanted to support a developer, I would rather buy a game I like twice than maybe buy a game I'm not sure about or something.
One point I bought Destiny for Xbox, PC, and PlayStation.
I did that with Grand Theft Auto 5. I bought it on the 360, then I bought it on the One, and then I bought it on the PC.
That game's bonkers. When it came out. It's amazing the money that game's brought in.
But to tell you about the Planet Coaster, I would have returned Planet Coaster on the console, but I have a 10-year-old son who wanted to play it, and he doesn't have a PC. So if I bought it on the PC, he couldn't play it. So that's why I kept it on. Yeah, I kept it on the Xbox.
My topic was supposed to tie into the fact that we don't own games anymore, but the fact that we jumped the gun on Gator's topic kind of threw my topic off a little bit. So I know it sounded like more of a pompous, extemporaneous statement that I'm putting out there in the world, but
real quick, you were saying that you get away from the real world, and this is why when you play Destiny, it pulls you away, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about Veilguard just a little bit, right? And other topics like that. That's why people are mad, because people use video games to escape, right? And when things are talked about in the real world, and then they're also talked about in your video games, people are like, we just want to be left alone. We just want to play video games, right? We don't want to. There's political stuff in video games by nature. I mean, that's just what it is. You know what I mean? But people, when you look at the media and stuff, they kind of push it ahead because that's what they're trying to do, get clicks on their videos and on their articles and whatnot. And then the YouTubers are making videos on that stuff because they're trying to get clicks and whatnot. So when you're in the real world and you just get home after a 9-hour, 10-hour day, and your kids you're at home, and you just want to sit down for an hour that you have or 2 hours, and you just want to play a game and like zone out. And then when you sit down, then there's more people talking about the stuff that you just try to get away from. And I think that's why a lot of people are upset about the video game industry right now, because they're pushing certain whatever side you're on, they're pushing things, and people they don't care. They just want to be left alone and play games. That's what they want to do.
And it seems, well, I may be biased here, but it seems like more people want to play by themselves these days. I agree. Does that seem to be? I know Destiny.
I still think it's
all about community.
It's just a correction. I feel like I don't know if it's going to last that way, Gator. I feel like we're all kind of in different pockets now, and there's still people playing together. But I think I see this a lot with. I'm a geek in psychology and personalities and things like that, and I'm a more even-tempered person, so I don't make course corrections as much as other people do. But I see it in communities and stuff too, and I personally think, I could be wrong, but that yes, there's a little more people just playing by themselves right now, but it doesn't mean it's going to be that way necessarily forever.
And I mean, I've said this all throughout my show, is that I love playing stuff solo in Destiny. If it's farming Glimmer or farming materials or whatever in Elden Ring or whatever,
we have to force you to raid with us.
I know, but I tell you what, though, I'm glad you do, because once I do, I'm like, damn, that was fun. And
do you know why people want to play by themselves though? Like, I remember in Destiny, maybe they fixed it now, but when you went into like a Nightfall or whatever, and you have to do your quests, your dailies, and you're like, I got to kill 30 guys, and you're like, okay, I tapped him. Did you tap him? Yeah, I got him. And then you were all like trying to.
So they need to fix that.
Did you put a bullet in it?
They haven't fixed it. No.
Oh my god!
So they still don't give you credit.
Play by themselves because they can get through the dailies faster by doing it by themselves.
Yeah.
That never bugged me because I hate bounties and dailies.
See, I'm the opposite.
I actually prefer everyone working together and going fast.
I will get strike bounties, and I will go into a single player instance.
Yeah, I got 5 more to do. 5 more. I got 6. Or I got 10.
And I will sit there and go, okay, I got to kill 5 more hive. Let's get it done, and then I'll move on to the next bounty.
And that's why we've said this a million times. A game like Destiny, there's so many competing ideas of how people want to play. They've always Destiny's been an amazing game, but it's an impossible game to make everyone happy because everyone has different ways they like to play.
So many different players.
That goes with anything, though. You can never make everyone happy, right?
Yeah.
Like, for every 100 people that like the game, there's going to be 99 people that hate the game. You know what I mean? You're never going to make everyone happy.
Well, like I said, that was more of a statement than a question, but I felt it needed to be said. And I'll tell you what, I will be sicker than a dog sometimes when I'm home from work, and I will jump in and play a video game, and it's like all my symptoms just go away. It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I'll still be achy.
I feel better tonight. I'm not sick anymore.
No, you know what I mean, though. I just get so, maybe it's my ADHD. Maybe I just get hyper focused on a game. Maybe that's it. But it's just something about gaming. It is so therapeutic.
It helps you feel better. Yeah.
It is so therapeutic.
Here's a bonus question for you guys. Do you guys like games that are like super long to beat, or do you like something that's between like 15 and like 20 hours?
You're talking to 3 different kinds of players here. Go ahead, Kingsley.
I'll go first. I like a game that's super long to beat because I'm really big about the exploration aspect. So like, again, I'm replaying through Odyssey, and holy cow, that game is huge. And I'd be fine if it was even 3 times as big, because the more there is, the happier I am.
So you like Red Dead Redemption or like a Grand Theft Auto or Witcher?
Yeah. Is that you,
Big
Gator?
exploration games that go forever with millions of side quests and everything like that.
You play all the side quests?
You take Belgard, I will literally sit there with story missions and go and do every side quest I can do before I go back to the story.
Now see, this is how different
we
are.
Until they all check off in Red Dead Redemption 2, one of the greatest stories I've ever played.
New stuff, if it's not outside of the side quests or the story, and if it's like, no, come back and do bounties. I'm done. Done with the game.
See, this is how different we are.
I do all side quests.
See,
and then I do the
you're
main
the same.
Story. Yeah.
See, for me, I mean, I love story. I love story, but it's like check the box, check the box, check the box.
It's more structured. Yeah,
I'm very structured when it plays the video games, and that's why I love bounties.
I go to every nook and cranny and try to find everything.
And I'll do that too. I did that on Starfield. I think it was at a space base on a random planet, and I think I spent 2 hours just looking at every box trying to find a good gun or something. I mean, I can be that way. But I'm always thinking, okay, what's this getting for me? I'm the kind of guy, when I play Destiny, I'm like, tell me what I need to do. Tell me where I need to go. Tell me how many people I need to shoot and give me my damn gear. I'm like, give me the path. Give me the path to get it done. And I will just go through the path and get it done. I'll check that box like it's a super black shader right now. I got to play one haunted sector on expert, which is no big deal. I'll get that done. But now I got to play 30 frickin' activities. Strike, Gambit, or Strikes. I think I'm 35% through it now, but that still means this whole weekend I'm going to have to divvy up how many games I got to play, whether it's like a private match in Crucible or what, but I'm going to get that done because I wanted that super black shader. To me, it's all, people always ask, what do they need to do in Destiny to get people, what gets you excited to play Destiny now? Because for me, Onslaught, sorry, just hasn't done it for me. I played a handful of Onslaught games with the new season, and the potions, it just hasn't gotten me excited. But
it hasn't anyone.
What will get me excited is if there's a badass heavy burst pulse rifle in Trials, I will kill myself through the whole weekend to get as many of those rifles as I can because it's all about the gear for me. It's all about, I want that gun because I know that gun will make it be so much fun to use when I play Crucible down the road. That's what gets me. People always ask, because the activities, let's face it, we played this game 10 years, the activities, even though they're fun in the time you play them, I'm not motivated to go and play those activities because at the end of the activity, the gear is, it's okay. But something like I said with Trials, it's totally different. But that's just the player I'm at.
Super black shader earlier, it was probably easier.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
I'm almost done.
It was.
I'm almost done. Thank goodness they gave me 3 weeks to get this done because I don't know.
You said you're 30%, I thought.
I'm at 35%. That's all I got left. 35% of activities.
All you got left. I wonder how many hours.
I got to play.
You only have 35%?
No, I think they said you have to do 30 activities. If I'm 30% through, let's do the math here. That means I need to do 20?
Yeah, let's be fair here.
22 activity? No, 20 activities probably. So
how much is an activity?
So I'm going to play. I'm going to play 10 games of Crucible or 7 or 8 games of Crucible for the next 3 days. I know what I need to do to get it done. Or I can go in a private match for 5 minutes.
20 hours, no big deal.
So you know what your job is for the next, I gotcha.
That's the way I think, man. But, and I love graphics. When it comes to games, I'm a graphics hog. I love my graphics, but I proved myself wrong when I played Balatro. My son turned me on to Balatro when we didn't have power when Milton hit us. I played it on mobile. It was a brand new mobile game on Apple Games. And I couldn't stop playing that game. And I think it's like an 8-bit game. I mean, there's no graphics at all in it. In fact, I could barely even see the suits.
You don't need graphics for gaming. Gaming is just gaming.
That's proved me right. It's proved you right and proved me wrong because I always thought it was about the presentation. I always thought it was about the graphics. And
it is for the broader audience.
That's how involved I want to dive in. Yeah. So, okay.
I get bored with card games actually because they're not visually interesting to me.
I get that, but for me, it's about the math. It's about the times 1.5s and.
Just think about this, Gator. If you had gotten Super Black when it was easier to get, you could be playing Black Myth Wukong this weekend.
You could be playing anything else.
Or I could be playing more zombies because I got a lot to do in zombies still. Yeah. I know. I hear you.
Just saying,
Yeah. Okay.
No regrets, though. No regrets.
Hey, I wanted to thank my co-host Kingsley Mack and RNG Gator and our guest Roundtabler 30 NSG for joining me this week. I thought we had some pretty good topics of discussion on this Roundtable episode. Every week I like to give a shout out to a member of the week. This is someone I've noticed more active in our Discord community and has gotten involved in our show and just really been a good person. As a reward and a shout out on the show, they'll receive a special Community Member of the Week role in our Discord with a nice little icon next to their name as well, representing the podcast. Shout out to our Discord Community Member of the Week. He's been a member for over 3 years now, is a moderator and clan leader in our community. He's always setting up dungeon runs with the clans and has been instrumental in helping me manage our Discord community. So a big shout out to Ronan Red Lion. Thanks for hanging out with us, sir, and congrats on being our Member of the Week. I want to announce that I have just created a listener survey on our website, guardiandowncast.com. And if you participate in it, I'm awarding a $100 Amazon digital gift card, thanks to our Patreon community, via a random drawing to one lucky winner on episode 285 live, which is the episode right before Christmas week. So go to our website. It's guardiandowncast.com/survey. It should only take a few minutes to answer some questions on what you think of the podcast and how we can improve our show going forward. I've made a lot of changes to the format over this year, and I want to make sure we're headed in the right direction. So let your voice be heard. Again, it's guardiandowncast.com/survey, and you'll need to give us your email so we can make sure to get you that gift card. I'll have a link in the show notes down below for easy access. And good luck. I want to give a special shout out to the patrons of our show. Because they give back to the show and community, they replace the needed funds that we would otherwise have to get from sponsors and advertisers. And it goes to support the production cost and the community management costs that make the show what it is today. So thank you to all of our patrons of the show, especially members like Zombie Pops. Thank you, sir. Also a shout out to our Dungeon Champion patrons. That's Technical, Raffy, Deadpool1 Merc, and Darth Noodle. A thank you to our raid boss patrons Jealous, Frostbite, and Amazing Taco King. Well, we discussed several topics on the show, whether it's about Intel's woes with quality control and its new chipsets, or why gamers continue to pay full price for broken and buggy games that seem to be released well before they're ready. Or how about the lawsuit with Ubisoft where the developer was shutting down servers where online-only games like The Crew could not be played. You know, if the plaintiffs lose this lawsuit, will it set a precedent for how developers can treat their online customers in the future? Or how long should studios keep servers online for older games? Finally, I mention all the reasons I rarely regret spending money on video games and explain the reasons why. Also, my fear that the trend is leaning more and more towards gaming being a license to play and not ownership of an actual game. I use my DVD collection as an example on the show. With more and more studios getting absorbed by the major players in the gaming industry, will we have no choice in how we purchase our games going forward? We've stated our opinions, but how about you? Let us know in our show feedback channel in our Discord. That's discord.gg/GuardianDownCast. You can email us also at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. And of course, the links to all that will be down in our show notes down below. Just a reminder that we have another new show next week live on my YouTube channel. The link to it will also be in the show notes below if you want to jump in and say hi to us. We really had a great show this week, and I get excited every week. I see our community show up and interact with us. Next week, Kingsley and I will be back to talk Destiny and our initial impressions with Destiny 2 Revenant Act 2. We'll also answer any questions you send us for the show, if there's any. And Uncle Scumdeath checks in with us as well. And don't forget, we go live every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time if you want to join in and interact with us in real time. It's youtube.com/@ToddTheGator. That's 2 D's and GATR. The replay will also be available if you aren't able to make the live show, but we hope to see you there. Well, that's a wrap. Another episode in our collection. For our new listeners out there, we have 277 other episodes with interviews from gamers all over our community. So take a look at those, especially if you're just finding out about us. And if you like what you hear, do us a favor. The only way we promote our show is by you telling others about us. Everything's at guardiandowncast.com. Again, special thanks to my co-host RNG Gator and Kingsley Mack. You can find them in our Discord. I'll also have their links in the show notes as well if you'd like to follow their social. Thank you also to our guests, 30 and Still Gaming, or 30 NSG. I really enjoyed talking with him. It's been a while. It's good to catch up. I'll have his contact information in the show notes as well. You can contact me at Todd the Gator, that's 2 Ds and GATR, all across my socials and gaming platforms. You can also reach me via email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Remember, as you're playing Final Shape, take breaks, get outside, and touch grass. Ace Mordor. Yeah, I see you in the clan chat. Hey everyone, remember, we're Guardian Downcast, your stories, your community, your destiny. And be good to your fellow Guardians in the Destinyverse.
Guardians are measured by their ability to come back from defeat. So stand. Fight!
Thank you all so very much for listening and watching. And later, Guardian. I wanted to, before we close out here, Kingsley, I want to turn the question back on you. What is your favorite dessert and drink?
Yeah, because I do believe I mentioned it at some point, but I'll see how I answer it right now. I know my answer was cheesecake, and that's still a big favorite, but it's a little boring to me right now. And what I may have also answered at some point, but this is a really big favorite of mine, Bananas Foster's.
Ooh.
You familiar with that?
Yeah, I've had it once.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And the legit way where they cook, the bananas in the brown sugar rum sauce, and they light it on fire, and then it kind of cooks down, and then you throw it over some ice cream or whatever. You
should have like a crispy, like burnt edge on the top, I think.
No, not necessarily for Bananas Foster.
Okay.
You just put a bunch of chopped up bananas in like a flambe, like a kind of a cooking thing with brown sugar, butter, some rum, actually, and cook it down, and then just pour it over some ice cream. It's like this really syrupy, sweet banana flavored thing. It's really good. Nice. And then for drinks, alcoholic, I would say also. Well, I was going to say rum, but it's probably more tequila these days. I'm a big tequila guy. I can even just sip it straight or whatever if it has a good flavor to it. I always prefer a hard drink over like beer. I don't mind beer, but to me, it's more of a waste of drinking because, the carbonation, it fills you up.
Yeah.
And unless it's like a really unique flavor, I don't want to waste my stomach space on beer. So I'd rather just have something concentrated and stronger, like a hard liquor or whatever.
For me, I've told everyone it's key lime pie. You go to a good restaurant, they've got to have a good key lime pie in Florida, or you're not really a restaurant in Florida. It'd be like clam chowder up in Boston, right? If you're a good restaurant in Boston, you better have some good clam chowder. Drink-wise, alcoholic-wise, I do love Dragon's Milk. It's my favorite. I like bourbon strap type beers. They're a lot darker, but they can kind of have a nice flavor to them. But I tell you what, lately I'm so dehydrated by the time I get home. I used to drink a beer at dinner, but it would sap my energy because that alcohol just dries you up. But lately I haven't been drinking as much. I'm not a huge drinker, but it would be bourbon strap beers, which is usually Dragon's Milk right now, which kicks my butt.
I like the darker ones too, like a good stout or a bourbon flavored beer, like you said. Yeah,
yes.
Those do have, at least they have like more substance to them also.
And a non-alcoholic, it would be diet green tea with lemon and ginseng. I get it from my local Publix.
Green tea a lot also.
It's very good for you.
I really like regular green tea, and I like it iced a lot. I'll have it hot, but I prefer it iced. Have you ever had matcha green tea?
I have not tried matcha. No, yeah. I might have tried it, but not really.
Yeah.
No,
I really like it because it's so much even stronger. Because like tea, it's supposed to be more of a mild flavor, and of course, if you have it sweet. Now I know that's big where you are. I prefer my tea a little less sweet, but I don't mind sweet tea. But mostly because I'm just trying to avoid sugar and stuff. But the nice thing about matcha is it instead of the tea leaves being steeped and it's just the essence of the flavor of the leaves, it's actually a special type of green tea leaves that are actually ground up into a powder, and then they mix that powder into milk or whatever, sweeten it a little bit, and it has a very, very strong green tea flavor that I love. It's so good.
I just love the taste of it. And the ginseng's supposed to help with my memory and cognitive decline, but I don't know if that works these days, but I might be too far gone. Who knows? But I know I do have to say that this diet green tea does have Splenda in it. I'm a big Splenda user. I don't like to use the other. I like the sugar alcohols. I don't like to use the other stuff because it's just shown not to be good for you. I'm sure Splenda's not good for you either, but it's better than raw sugar. And
they're fine in small doses. Yeah.
So. Says the Chaz maxed out. Oh, brother, let me look here. No, he's
maxed out.
He's already in here.
Good God, we're maxed out.
Us old guys in technology, man.
Listen. If I don't need it, don't use it. And then I fall into the hole where I didn't use it for years, so I don't. Yeah, I don't care, dude. If you think I'm changing all my money into Bitcoin, you're out of your mind.
Why not?
All right. I'm good if you guys are. I think we've done this a few times.